Right, this is like take 3 YouTube. I hope you appreciate this. Had some slight technical difficulties. Hi, Angel. In that the Xbox One version of this game for me does not have my save for Dragon Age Origins like downloaded to the Xbox from the cloud or like temporarily stored on the Xbox or whatever. So I've got to replay the prologue. So people on stream have seen this prologue already, so I'll try to... Actually, I might set the difficulty to casual just to get through it quickly. And then we'll continue from there, but we'll have the cutscenes again. And I'll real quick make the character with the settings we decided upon.
Had gentler invitations.
I am Cassandra Pentecost, Seeker of the Chantry.
And just, what are you seeking?
The champion.
Which one?
You know exactly why I'm here! Time to start talking, dwarf. They tell me you're good at it.
What do you want to know?
Everything. Start at the beginning.
Dragon Age 2. Come on, let the prologue. I want to kill Darkspawn again. Recognize the... What, Cassandra? It's the same voice actress in Inquisition.
Scouts. We will have to fight them sooner or later.
Then we make our stand here. Prepare yourself. To arms!
Hang on 1 second. I mean, if you want to go through it, this is the VA's IMDb page, Miranda Raison. She's been in a lot of stuff. Oh man, Dreamfall, I really need to play that. But that's a point and click adventure, I believe, anyway. Anyway, back to gameplay. Oh, it feels weird holding a 360 controller after the one controller. Alright, stage 1 done.
We can't keep this up forever.
We'll make it through this, together.
Here they come. Shall I give them a taste of my blade?
Allow me.
Probably, I don't know if the other option gives you like friendship with your brother or sister. If I think if you're playing anything but a mage, you have Bethany instead of Carver. Could be wrong about that. Okay, so that stuns and knocks them back. Have a fireball. Hit a rock. Never mind.
I'll deal with this.
Meteors from the sky, as opposed to meteors from the ground, obviously. Also, that's great Warden armor that Carver's wearing. Oh, I seem to recall from when I played this originally, and I was kind of looking at cool trivia for it. You have Bethany during this opening prologue because... Wow, that audio is really not where it should be now. Because Varric's telling it, and he's exaggerating things, Bethany's cleavage is larger than it is in the actual game. Make sure that's saved. It did.
Finish this.
You can tell this is being played on the 360. Over goes Splat.
There's no end to them.
Varric tells one kind of story. Varric does indeed tell one kind of story. So the voice actor for Varric's actually...
Bullshit. That's not what really happened.
Wait for this to play out.
Does that not match the story you've heard, Seeker?
I'm not interested in stories. I came to hear the truth.
What makes you think I know the truth?
Don't lie to me! You knew her even before she became the champion.
Even if I did, I don't know where she is now.
Do you have any idea what's at stake here?
Let me guess. Your precious chantries fall into pieces and put the entire world on the brink of war. And you need the one person who could help you put it back together.
The champion was at the heart of it when it all began. If you can't point me to her, tell me everything you know.
You aren't worried I'll just make it up as I go?
Not at all.
You'll need to hear the whole story.
As I was saying, Varric's voice actor, Brian Bloom, has written a large, or like co-written, a decent number of the most recent Call of Duty games. The man has many talents. Varric is pretty cool. So I never used Varric in my first playthrough of this, because I was using a bow. Because if you're not interested in stories, Varric is the wrong choice. You are not wrong, Benjins. You are not wrong. Also, welcome. Yeah, I didn't use Varric my first playthrough, so I'm going to be using Varric this playthrough as my archer. Right. This screen looks familiar to everyone who was here like 10 minutes ago. I believe it was all the way over here somewhere. There it is. Slightly more intense, and then the same color for the lips. There we go. And then the same color for the eyeshadow. Happily in the same... It is not in the same place. Heckin' bamboozled. There we go. Let's make it less intense. And then I think the tattoo was all the way over here. Yes, it was. It was that one. I think it was somewhere in the middle, right? Them fringes, though. That one, I think it was. Yep, with the loop at the back. It was silver hair. Those were the eyebrows, and I sort of matched them to the hair as best I could. Joe White does Femhawk's voice, which is also Ciri's game. Of course, that's why I recognize Ciri's voice. Thank you, Little Lady Red. Thank you. That was bothering me when I was playing Witcher 3. I left that the same. I think I left all of these largely the same. I went with a different blue, though. I think it was over here somewhere. Nope. I think it was that blue. That was fine. That was fine. Those of you who've just joined, I had what I'm terming to call a technical difficulty in that I couldn't import my Origin save on my Xbox One, so and this was like 10 minutes ago, so I'm having to really quickly get back to where you know what? Before I go through all of this, can I? I can. Okay, cool. We'll fix that in a moment. What was I on? Nose, right. NP. So I'm trying to rush through it. Chat's already helped me make the Hawk. I'm just trying to get back to where I was. I can't remember which nose it was. I think it was that one. She does such a good job. Really does. Really, really does. Nope, the other way. While I'm on the sliders again, I feel like, and because YouTube, this is a fresh YouTube recording. Again, if you haven't checked out Monster Factory on YouTube, highly recommend it. So it's a good look at different character customization systems and how badly you can use them, or how well, you know, depending on your point of view. Monster Factory gave us such wonderful things as Truck Shepherd, which I'd love to do on stream, but you can't actually do it without hacking the save file itself. So it's not going to happen. Deja Vu, Scar Me for Life, some of those videos. Hey, they kept going, babe. They kept going. We'll get out of the Deja Vu momentarily. This doesn't really matter. I'm with slightly thinner lips because I have basically no lips to speak of, and we may as well use some of my traits here. Hence the really quite prominent cheeks as well. Right, it's the wrong way. Whack. Oh, whack that up about there. Again, can't really see the ears, so sure, why not? Portrait. Let's just turn it to face the other way. Mysterious. Look up slightly. Zoom in slightly. Where's that white background that I like? There it is. Name. Ryder. It's going to be really confusing when I play Andromeda on stream. Nope, not Rydy. When I play Andromeda on stream, because I can't name my character Ryder. Whoops. There we go. So I'm hoping that by doing this, I can then import the cloud save. I assume this is the most recent. Yeah, it's the Illuvian at the end. Cool. Connor freed, Mages recruited, Daily Shells recruited, Balin rules, Anvil of the Void destroyed, Loghain killed, Alistair king, Dark Ritual with Morrigan, killed the Archdemon, Amaranthine saved, Architect is alive, Warden's Keep reclaimed, Shell discovered, King Kalem's corpse was burned. Yep, that seems about right. Hell yeah. So now, in theory, when we start tomorrow, all of those flags will be set. What are the options? So, default history, human noble apparently. Young man from a noble family rose to become Grey Warden, then ended the 5th blight, backing the Archdemon himself and surviving. Always strove for the greater good, placed Alistair on the throne. Let's go here, let's get around to playing this time, have fun. Sorry Kiwi, thanks for the well wishing. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll almost definitely be playing tomorrow. Ferelden will forever remember the young Dalish elf who died to kill the 5th Archdemon. Even though she had had reason to be cynical, her actions always benefited others, left the kingdom ruled jointly by Alistair and Honora. Ruthless Dwarven Noble took command of Ferelden's Grey Wardens, let nothing stand between him and victory. Exiled Alistair and Loghain to his death against the Archdemon, left Honora as Ferelden's ruler. Holy crap, that's metal AF. Hey, Kiara. But that's my choice. I will... Oh, no. I will... Oh, I guess I'll just re-import that. We'll play on normal. I did casual last time. I'm dealing with technical problems, but I got there in the end, I believe.
The Blight had been unleashed on Ferelden. Darkspawn poured out of the wilds, clashing against the army at the ruins of Ostagar. The battle was a disaster. King Cailan died on the field with his men, betrayed by his most trusted general.
Chuffin Logain.
Unopposed, the Horde marched on the village of Lothering. The village burned, and many innocents were slaughtered. The Champion's family barely escaped in time.
Dragon Age 2, indeed. There's Bethany. Everyone say hi to Bethany. Spoiler, she doesn't stick around long.
I think that's all of them.
For the moment, make us save us. We've lost it all. Everything your father and I built. I know how much Lothering meant to you, but we have to move. Yes, you're right.
We should have run sooner. Why did we wait so long?
Why are you looking at me? I've been running since Ostagar.
Oh, Carla. Speaking of running...
Not to interrupt, but the Blight's not going to wait while we stand here pointing fingers. Please, listen to your sister.
Then let's go. Lead on.
So back is now the map. Cool. That's not going to get confusing for me. This is good. Because, so, oh yeah, YouTube, you wouldn't have seen this. I have Cassandra's book here with the Seeker logo on it, but it's actually the strategy guide, and it has a quest list in it. So I'll be using that at certain points to make sure I've not missed any quests. I'm also not going to create a collection on Twitch of me reading the codex entries, but I am still going to read them. Herlock. Taller than their Genlock cousins, the Herlocks are roughly of human size but are possessed of considerable strength and constitution. The shock troop of the Darkspawn, a single berserking Herlock can often be a match for numerous opponents at once. They are known to adorn themselves with roughly carved tattoos to keep track of their kills and deeds, though it is unknown whether or not there is a uniform standard to these markings. Mabari Warhound. Dogs are an essential part of Ferelden culture, and no dog is more prized than the Mabari. The breed is as old as myth, said to have been bred from the wolves who served Dane. Prized for their intelligence and loyalty, these dogs are more than mere weapons or status symbols. The hounds choose their masters and pair with them for life. To be the master of a Mabari anywhere in Ferelden is to be recognised instantly as a person of worth. The Mabari are an essential part of Ferelden military strategy. Trained hounds can easily pull knights from horseback or break lines of pikemen, and the sight and sound of a wave of war dogs howling and snarling has been known to cause panic among even the most hardened infantry soldiers. How do I... Darkspawn. Those who had sought to claim heaven by violence destroyed it. What was golden and pure turned black. Those who had once been mage lords, the brightest of their age, were no longer men, but monsters. Threnodies 12:1. Sin was the midwife that ushered the Darkspawn into this world. The Magisters fell from the Golden City, and their fate encompassed all our worlds, for they were not alone. No one knows where the Darkspawn come from. A dark mockery of men, in the darkest places they thrive, growing in numbers as a plague of locusts will. In raids they will often take captives, dragging their victims alive into the deep roads, but most evidence suggests that these are eaten. Like spiders, it seems Darkspawn prefer their food still breathing. Perhaps they are simply spawned by the darkness. Certainly, we know that evil has no trouble perpetuating itself. The last blight was in the Age of Towers, striking once again at the heart of Tevinter, spreading south into Orlais and east into the Free Marches. The plague spread as far as Ferelden, but the withering and twisting of the land stopped well beyond our borders. Here, Darkspawn have never been more than the stuff of legends. In the northern lands, however, particularly Tevinter and the Neanderthals, they say Darkspawn haunt the hinterlands, preying on outlying farmers and isolated villagers, a constant threat. From Ferelden Folklore and History by Sister Petrine Chantry Scholar. Rider Hawk. Oh, yeah, also, I mentioned this during Origins, but if you play the mage origin, human mage in Origins, you are Hawk's cousin. If you notice that it says, the daughter of Malcolm Hawke and Leandra Amel. This wasn't intended. This was a coincidence that Bioware owned, and when fans pointed it out, they said, yeah, they're cousins. Ryder has lived in many places throughout Ferelden. Her father was a mage, and his gifts were passed on to both Ryder and Bethany, Malcolm's younger daughter. Malcolm refused to submit himself to the Chantry's rule. He kept his abilities a secret and taught his daughters to do the same. Therefore, the family was constantly on the move to avoid Templar hunters. 10 years ago, the family settled in the village of Lothering, building a home on the outskirts and making a life where they wouldn't forever be on the run. Though Leandra worried constantly that the Templars would one day catch up with them, Malcolm's teachings were sufficient to keep them safe. He died 3 years ago, leaving Ryder responsible for the welfare of her mother and younger siblings. When the Blight began, Carver enlisted in King Caelan's regiment, saying the horde spilling from the Korcari Wilds meant their home would be quickly overrun if the Darkspawn were not defeated immediately. Ryder remained in Lothering to safeguard the family. Carver appeared on their doorstep almost a month later, exhausted and injured. King Caelan had been betrayed and slain at Ostagar, and the horde was advancing on Lothering. Though Ryder and the others were making plans to leave, they fled their home before they were fully prepared, and it may still be too late. And these are the tutorials. See, these are all cool, but I don't think we have any of the points for them yet. Can I level up anything? Sure can't. Black Emporium is DLC. Disregard. I cannot currently access it. These are all DLC. But they're all equally. They're all get into Kirkwall first. So.
Be careful!
Mind Blast. I mean, yeah, I could use control another party member, but... Radial menu, so that's... I guess the heart is quick heal and quick mana, yep. Hold position... Okay, I'm going to get these messed up because I'm used to Origins, but we'll get there in the end. Level up! When a character levels up, you receive points to spend on both attributes and abilities. I have 3 points remaining. Oh, sweet merciful Lord, it tells you what they do. I assume magic still ties in with spell power. Increased damage attack values for mages, yes. So we'll put 2 points into magic and 1 point into mana, or willpower, I guess technically. Use left stick to select a tree, then A to zoom. Elemental, primal, spirit, arcane, entropy, creation. Hexagons are sustained modes that can be turned on and off. Circles are passives that provide a permanent bonus. Yeah, but, like, can I... Oh, I already know some of them Baric, right. I think that's DLC. Anyway, heal. And what's the buff to heal again? Just more health, cool. So that's 80% health regeneration. So you'll notice that it's a bit different from Origins. You have similar kind of ideas, but I just prefer the UI here. And you can upgrade spells so that they're slightly better if you want to. Dogs DLC. Yeah, I think it was the Black Emporium, right? But thank you for confirming. So you can upgrade things rather than just, if you wish, or you can just move along the tree to the next one. Probably going to go for haste next, to be fair.
Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on it. For trouble.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Dead refugee, what have you got for me? A free man's staff. Why do you have a staff, and is it better than mine? Inspect, there we go. 5 fire damage, 7 per second. 5 cold damage, 7 per second. Okay, well, I like cold, so I guess we'll use that stuff. Also, suddenly dog. Haven't any clue, just played Base Dragon Age 2 and noticed Pitch didn't get your dog back. Yeah, I think it's Black Emporium, which is free now, maybe? I don't actually know.
I'm not sure we can survive much more of this.
Also, listen to staff, it's some weird scythe. But I'll take it.
Wait. Where are we going?
Away from the Darkspawn, where else?
And then where? We can't just wander aimlessly.
Wherever we go, what's important is that we don't separate.
We can go to Kirkwall.
Can we? Oh, good.
Kirkwall? Are you sure that's wise?
There's a lot of Templars in Kirkwall, Mother.
I know that, but we still have family there, and an estate.
About that.
Then we need to get to Guarin and take ship.
If we survive
about
that
that.
long, I'll just be happy to get out of here.
Carver, stop being a pessimist. Also, Bethany's chainmail dress is amazing. Go, my faithful companion. It's Aveline. Her outfit is really cool. Yeah, Bethany's outfit is so cool. Unfortunately, I'm a mage.
You will not have him!
Man, Aveline's entrance is so cool.
They will not have you. Not while I breathe.
It's a little intimidating. Aveline's fine. Your wife is here? Should you play 1 before 2? They're largely self-contained. But you can import a save from 1 into 2. 2 is...
Stop squirming, Wesley.
2 is
You'll
weird.
make it worse.
Because this bit's during the events of
Apostate.
Origins. I think
Keep your
Act 1
distance.
is also during the
Mother Maker
events.
has a sense of humor.
And then Act 2 and 3 are after, I think.
Darkspawn and now a Templar. I thought they all abandoned Lothering.
But it would give you context for the
The
world.
Spawn are clear in their intent, but a mage is always unknown. The Order dictates.
Wesley.
The Order dictates.
Dear, they saved us. The Maker understands.
Angel,
Of course.
Av is scary. I mean,
I am
she
Aveline
may be.
Belen. This is my husband, Sir Wesley. We can hate each other when we're safe from the Horde.
A strange time to be hunting apostates. His fellows left with the Chantry priests.
I was traveling to Denerim on business for the Order, but
I
had
guess
to
you meant
turn
Aveline
south when I
Vengeance, don't
heard
worry.
of Ostagar.
Bad luck and judgment brought us together here before the attack.
The nice Templar has been convinced to postpone his hunt for illegal mages. So let's not dwell upon it, shall we?
Wise girl.
Baby scary bit. Hell yeah. I totally respect a woman who could break me as much as easily as look at me.
You're quick to offer your
I
allegiance.
mean, I respect people anyway, but...
Another blade between us and the Darkspawn? Yes, please.
So long as the Horde is their first concern.
My duty is clear, but that is for another day, if we are granted that opportunity.
We will be fine. We all will.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, it looked like we were the only ones to escape the Darkspawn.
We aren't free of them yet. You didn't see Ostagar. This is just the start.
You were there. Yes, I see it now. Third Company, under Captain Varel.
Then you saw how the whole of the army was defeated.
We fell to betrayal, not the Darkspawn. This arm of the Horde will not have the same advantage.
That was it. Let's be nice.
How bad is that wound?
I think my sword arm's a loss, even with healing.
Then you will have mine, as always.
For now, we move with you. North is cut off. We barely escaped the main body of the Horde.
Then we're trapped. The wilds are to the south. That's no way out.
Well, it is.
We have no choice. The Darkspawn have us fenced in. We go south.
Cut through the wilds to Guaran, because that's the events of the Stolen Throne. Carver, such a bummer. I accidentally rivaled Carver, I guess. Sure. Sure. Strength and con. Mighty blow. And let's go with one in those, shall we? Weapon is shield tree. Shield bash can be useful. Wow, Carver really does not like me. Okay, cool. I guess I'll aim for a rivalry with Carver then. I wonder what I did that annoyed him so. Also, I like how the
On your guard!
I like how it says mother for Leandra, even though we know her name. Can you? Please do.
Every battle is training for the next.
Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. It's weird not hearing Mark Mir all the time, I'll be honest.
Get ready!
I think Carver doesn't like mages. No, I think you're right. I think you're right there.
I'll deal with this.
From what I recall from playing this like 5 years ago. And doing the research that I did then. I've got a potion. Cool. Paid a mage, he also hates you. Well, it's probably because his siblings are mages and he's not, right? That was the wrong button entirely. The wrong menu option. Even. An honest answer regarding apostates. A mage who does not receive the teachings of the Circle and who does not have the words of Andraste in her heart is an apostate and a danger to us all. Without the guidance of the Holy Chantry, a mage may foolishly dabble in the darker arts, blood magic, or demon summoning, thus becoming Maleficarum, and a mage's mind will ever be a doorway to spirits of the Fade. Without proper instruction, this doorway remains open and unsecured. An open mind is like a fortress with its gates unbarred and unguarded. If a demon should come through this doorway and possess a mage, an abomination is created. Whoever names that reference gets an internet point. Bloodrain, I see the hydrates. I'm going to read this entry and then hydrate for you. Abominations know only madness. They cannot be reasoned with and will slaughter man, woman and child without thought. Whole cities have fallen to these creatures. Thousands have died at their hands. The Chantry and their Templars have a duty to ensure that this does not happen. If I knew a better way to deal with magic, I would seize upon it immediately. You say we should let the mages guard themselves. I tell you that this is no solution. Look at the Tevinter Imperium. Their magisters do not know restraint. Without Chantry oversight, the magisters abuse their power. Those without magic are trampled underfoot and forced to serve. Slaves are slaughtered by the hundreds to feed the magisters' hunger for power. Even some mages are not spared, for in mages, as in all humans, there exists a spectrum. On one end, the very powerful, on the other, those who can barely light a candle. The Empire cares only for the strongest, and those who do not compare favourably are thrown to the walls. One of the best improvements for this game was to add an animation attack for mages. Yes. Yes, it was. Imagine your children growing up in a world. If a mage asked it of you, you would have to give him your daughter, not knowing what his plans for her might be. You could not resist him, and neither could she. Without our Templars, and without the Circle, the common man would have no defense against magic. We must deny the mages certain freedoms for the common good. I wish there was another way. I tell the apprentices this is a test of their faith, that is, it is the will of the Maker. Many understand that we do what we do for their own good. Excerpt from a letter from Grand Cleric Francesca of Starkhaven to Lord Guthrie Abholtz. Here are the hydrates. The city of Kirkwall. Kirkwall once lived on the edge of the Tevinter Imperium and was home to nearly 1 million slaves. Stolen from elven lands or shipped from across the sea, all slaves fed the Imperium's unquenchable thirst for expansion. They worked in massive quarries and sweltering foundries that produced stone and steel for the Empire. The city's complicated past is not easy to forget, history having earmarked many corners of the Stone City. A ship approaching the harbour spots the city's namesake, an imposing black wall. It is visible for miles, and carved into the cliffside are a pantheon of vile guardians representing the old gods. Over the years, the Chantry has effaced many of these profane sentinels, but it will take many more years to erase them all. I don't know why I said Chantry. Chantry. Also carved into the cliff is a channel that permits ships into the city's interior. Flanking the channel are 2 massive bronze statues, the twins of Kirkwall. The statues have a practical use. Kirkwall sits next to the narrowest point of the waking sea, and a massive chain net can be erected between the statues and the lighthouse, closing off the only narrow navigable lane. The stranglehold on sea traffic is jealously guarded by the ever-changing rulers of the city, as the net trolls taxes, tolls, and extortions in from the sea. Okay, so that is from In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Ferdinand Genetivi, but as that book will come up often, as in the last game, I will refer to it as That Book by that guy to save my voice.
Now we fight!
I don't know why I'm mashing A, I've got auto attack set up.
Another wave! How about you?
Hey, don't. Mind Blast.
Let's finish this!
Genetivi, the whole adventure of fun across everywhere. I just want to play a game. I just want to play as Genetivi. I want to play through his life.
There.
I think that'd be a cool game, or like a travel documentary movie of Thedas, narrated by Genetivi.
I'll deal with this.
Man, that... Okay, Emissary Apprentice, cool. Okay, Mind Blast is very close range. Gotcha.
Let's finish this.
Dragon Age 4, The Tales of Genetivi. And that's why it's a, rumored to be a live service game, because you're just walking around the entire world.
Now you fall.
Oh, so the latest Bioware rumour, I guess while we're on the subject of Bioware games, and the future thereof, apparently here in the UK there's a retailer that has had a pre-order page up for a Mass Effect Trilogy remaster coming out next month. Dragon Age, The Tale of the Brother Abroad. I'd buy it. So, you know, whether or not that's true is obviously entirely up to... your decision, I guess, whether you believe it or not. I'm guessing we'd all play Brother Genetivi the game then. Next level, I'll grab health. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Because I'm going to be the healer, I'll just grab Greater Heal as soon as possible. And then Aveline. Strength and Con. What other trees do you have? Vanguard, Defender, Warmonger, Battlemaster, Guardian. Well, I guess that's her personal tree, right? She's going to be my tank. So these are active, these are sustained, and then these are passives. Secret to warding off the elements is surrounding armor king between you. The Blast of Warrior has done this less mechanics to magical attacks. Just gives a magic resistance or knockback resistance. Ooh. Let's go with Thunderblade. Just gonna save it. Stay over here and wait for Dragon Age: The Dreadwolf Rises. Yeah, I'm pretty hyped for that. I know it's probably going to be not great. I'm going to build it up. Pessimist. I'm going to build it up in my mind as something incredible because it's Dreadwolf related, but I'm probably going to still play it and enjoy it. I'm a sucker for Dragon Age.
I can't do that.
Yep. I don't have a rogue in the party, and I hate it. The Korcari Wilds. It is said that in the midst of the Black Age, when werewolves stalked the lands of Ferelden in numbers that kept every farmholder indoors and the hound on every doorstep, a powerful Arl of the Alamari people stood and declared that he would put an end to the threat. His Arling stood on the border of the Dark Forest on the southern border of the Ferelden Valley, and he claimed that the werewolves used the forest to launch their midnight assaults on humanity. For 20 years this Arl led an army of warriors and hounds deep into the forest. In his hunt for the werewolves, he slew not only every wolf he came upon, but also every member of the chastened wilder folk. Any one of them, he said, could harbour a demon inside and thus be a werewolf in disguise. For 20 years the forest rang with screams and the rivers ran red. The tales say that an old chastened woman found her sons all dead at the Arl's blades. She pulled one of those very blades from one son's heart and plunged it into her own chest, cursing the Arl's name as she did so. Where her blood touched the ground, a mist began to rise. It spread, and spread until it was everywhere in the forest. The Arl's army became lost, and it is said that they died there. Others say they wander still, because of course they do. There's always people who say that, and put that thought in my mind. Anyway, the ruins of his Arling stand to this day, filled with the ghosts of women waiting eternally for their husbands to return. The forest of the legend is, of course, the Korcari Wilds. There are as many legends about the great southern forest as there are shadows, or so the saying goes. The chastened wilder folk have made their home there since mankind first came to these lands, and the wildlands spread as far into the south as anyone has ventured. Beyond the mists are vast tracts of snow, white-capped mountains, and entire fields of ice. It is a land too cold for mankind to survive. Yet the chastened eke out an existence even there, and they tell of horrors beyond the wilds that the lowland folk could not begin to comprehend. To most, Ferelden simply ends with the Korcari Wilds. There is nothing beyond. The Wilds is a land of great trees, wet marshes, and dangerous monsters. What more need be said? From Land of the Wilders by Mother Ailish, Chantry Scholar 9, 18 Dragon. And an Angry Dragon Lady? Shh, we haven't got there yet. But yeah, pretty hyped for Dreadwolf Rises. I am incredibly annoyed that they do this to you, and they give you something you cannot open if you do not have a rogue in the party, because now I want to know what's in it. Although I opened it last time because I was playing a rogue. Anyway. I guess we'll power and con. Yeah, sure, you can have fire damage. Why not? Strength. Does dexterity still play into defense in any way? Can someone confirm or deny it? She's in the first game. I know. Shh, don't bring that into this. Giant's Reach. Warrior's two-handed attacks rip through the air. With such power, they each generate a shockwave past the point of impact. It's rebooted from the attempt to make another Dragon Age 2 issues of repeat locations and less wide-scope story. They planned a story of intrigue and espionage, but now they're looking to make a full title perusing the Dreadwolf story arc. Well, as long as it works, and it's not full of microtransaction trash, I'll be happy. I feel very strongly against microtransactions. I don't mind them for cosmetics, but the moment that I feel I have to do them, the game sucks. Still play it, but the game sucks. I'm looking at you, Resident Evil Resistance. I'm looking at you. Oh, hey, this is the bit from the prologue. It's the ogre. I feel less confident in my ability to defeat it this time around.
Maker, give me strength.
Don't do it, Bethany. Don't. It'll kill you. Oh no, Bethany. Who foresaw that coming? Who could have seen it?
Bethany!
Let's make this quick.
Just
Let's finish
get out of the way, that.
Go down.
Let's go with Evelyn. That chainmail did little. Yeah, it doesn't do much against, like, blunt force trauma, unfortunately. And stop attacking me and attack someone else.
That's enough.
Hey, if that spell could come off cooldown, that would be grand. I really need to look into, like, rock armor or something. And better ropes, obviously.
Bethany, wake up. The battle's over. We're fine.
Yeah, she's just sleeping.
I'm
It's fine.
sorry, mistress. Your daughter is gone.
No. These things will not
Usually
take
doesn't when the
Bethany.
thing attacking is 5 times your side. That is true.
Bethany risked her life to save us.
I'm going to be
I
generally
want a
being
hero.
hopeful, by the way, for this playthrough.
I want my daughter. How could you let her charge off like that? Oh, my poor little girl. My sweetheart.
Apart from when a snarky response seems
If
more
we stand
appropriate.
here weeping, the Darkspawn will take the rest of us too.
Allow me to commend your daughter's soul to the Maker, mistress. Ashes we were, and ashes we become. Maker, give this young woman a place at your side. Let us take comfort in the peace she has found in eternity.
I will never forget you, Bethany.
Okay, so it turns out Carver is he just hates Hawk. That's all it is. Carver's just predisposed towards rivalry at the start of the game. Are you talking about Dragon Age Inquisition multiplayer? Because I have never played that with someone.
Our lives are more valuable to her than our
It looks really
friends.
fun to play with someone.
Let's go.
Flames. We're too late.
Origins? Oh.
Be careful!
I killed a high dragon. Technically
Let's
solo,
finish
because it
this.
killed my entire party. Got a challenge thing, a challenge punch reward. Ah, I see. Solo is doable. I know this because it killed my entire party and I had to just kite it around. Unless you don't mean Andraste.
There's no end to them.
Doable hard? Yes. Very hard. Hey, it's a dragon. I know it's Flemeth. I was trying to not spoil it for people. I was trying to, you know, play the serious role for once. Real talk though, the Flemeth design in this game is so much better than the first one. Hit me with Kate Mulgrew. Hit me with Kate Mulgrew. There she is. Spoilers for a game that came out in 2012. I did say that. It did come out then.
Well, well. What have we here? It used to be we never got visitors to the wilds, but now it seems they arrive in hordes.
I like how they gave her the same eye colour as Morrigan for this one. She has a serious makeover. She does have a serious makeover. In case anyone is interested, there are apparently talks in process to have a Janeway series with the success of Star Trek Picard. Nice trick.
I don't know what we would have done if you hadn't arrived.
I do. You would have perished. You still may.
Thanks, Flemeth.
If you wish to flee the Darkspawn, you should know you are heading in the wrong direction.
Yeah, Captain Janeway.
So
Star
you're
Trek
just
Voyager.
going to leave us here?
And why not? I spotted a most curious sight. A mighty ogre vanquished. Who could perform such a feat? But now my curiosity
Me.
is sated, and you are safe for the moment. Is that not enough?
I want to be a dragon.
You could show me that trick of yours. That looks useful.
I dare say it is. Such a clever tongue for a mage. Tell me, clever child, how do you intend to outrun the
God, I love that
blight?
headpiece so much.
We're going to Kirkwall, in the Free Marches.
Kirkwall? My, but that is quite the voyage you plan. So far, simply to flee the Darkspawn.
Our home is gone, and we have nowhere else to go.
I see.
Well, that's not what that prompt
Hurtled
said.
into the chaos you fight, and the world will shake before you. Is it fate or chance? I can never decide. It appears fortune smiles on us both today. I may be able to help you yet.
Anything you could do for us would be appreciated.
Should we even trust her? We don't even know what she is.
I
Well,
know what she is.
we're
the
not
Witch
dead.
of the Wilds.
Which is a good sign.
Some call me that. Also Flemeth, Asha Belinar, an old hag who talks too much. Does it matter? I offer you this. I will get your group past the Horde in exchange for a simple delivery to a place not far out of your way. Would you do this for a Witch of the Wilds?
Should we trust her?
Wesley is injured. We'll never escape the Darkspawn.
If you need to, leave me behind.
Oh, he's got the tape.
No. I said I would drag you out if I had to, and I meant it.
Loophole is troublesome. Yeah, but it means that Blood Rain can take as long as they want to do it, and no matter how many times that failure happens, the success will hit you too.
What is a Witch of the Wilds exactly?
A chastened legend. Witches that steal
Do
children.
not trust her. I trust her.
Bah, as if I had nothing better to do.
Then you're an apostate.
Yes, we have so much in common.
Sure, why not?
You would go through all that trouble to have something delivered.
I have an appointment to keep. It is far more convenient this way. Happily, you're not without your own needs.
You could record it, Blood Rain. Like, record all of the attempts and do highlights, and then have the final attempt as well. Raka, how are you doing?
How much trouble will this delivery be exactly?
About as much trouble as my saving your lives not 5 minutes ago.
Good point.
If you knew my daughter, you'd know how seldom I hear that.
I do, and I had sex with her. Oh, wait, no. We're a different character. So that was all of them. That was that one, right?
How much
Yeah.
About as much trouble as my saving your life.
Good po-
If you knew my
You know what?
motive,
Because I can
you'd know
get that option again.
about as much
Let's,
trouble as
we
my
need to know the
saving.
details.
That's a lot to ask without telling us what this involves.
It's nothing more dangerous than one so capable can handle.
We could use more fire.
We don't have much choice.
We never do. There is a clan of Dalish elves near the city of Kirkwall. Deliver this amulet to their keeper, Marathari. Do as she asks with it, and any debt between us is paid in full. Before I take you anywhere, however,
How are you, Raka?
there is another matter.
He's dying.
No, leave
FYI.
him alone.
What has been done to your man is
Your legs
within
hurt?
his blood
How come?
already.
You lie.
She's right, Aveline. I can feel the corruption inside me.
Dunno. Oh. Been wearing the hip hookers again for too long?
What are you talking about?
From the dark spawn. All that blood. I knew when it happened.
And how much time before you?
Not long now, if I am any judge.
There must be something we can do.
The only cure I know of is to become a Grey Warden.
And they all died at Ostagar.
Not all, but the last are now beyond your reach.
Because she knows. She knows where Alistair and Rhiannon are. Or were, anyway.
Aveline, listen to me.
It sounds
You
like you
can't
get really
ask me
tense in
this.
your sleep.
I won't.
Please. The corruption is a slow death. I can't.
He's your husband, Aveline. I can't decide his fate.
Be strong. My love.
Yes, this is happening during Dragon Age 1. Power's been off since 12 seconds. No worries, Gremlin. You haven't missed much because I had some hella awkward technical difficulties. The Dragon Age is yeah, just like everyone's like, yes, it is true, that
Without
is
an
true.
end, there can be no peace. It gets no easier. Your struggles have only just
God, that tuber is
begun.
so good.
Flemeth.
I thought that might interest you.
Yeah, you lose Lothering after
You
the first story
expect
quest.
me to
in
believe a
Origins.
myth swooped out of the wild to save the champion?
Oh, come now, Seeker. Do I need to recite the tale of the Warden as well?
Oh, please do, Varric. Please
No.
do.
Perhaps I shouldn't be surprised to hear of her involvement.
I liked my version better, too.
What else aren't you telling me, then? Did she send someone with the champion?
In a matter of speaking.
So it's true. Continue. But if you tell me they all flew to Kirkwall on a dragon...
Nothing so fanciful, I assure you.
It's
The
so...
witch kept her word and got them to Guaran, where they took ship.
It's so nice to not be playing Brown the game.
They sailed north across the waking sea, lashed by terrible storms.
I love Origins, but it's so brown. Or grey.
2 weeks they spent in that dark hold, packed in with the fearful and the desperate.
Are we there yet?
And then
Are
they
we
saw
there
it.
yet? Are we there yet?
Kirkwall, the city of chains.
Grey.
Long
Wardens.
ago, it was part of the Imperium. Slaves coming from far and wide to work the quarries.
That's why you get
Now,
mods.
it's a free city. But I use the word loosely.
Yeah, Raka, it's more like Brown Wardens, but I like
Sail
what you
through
did there.
those black cliffs and you'll see what the slaves of old saw. The gallows, welcoming you.
The Again,
That's where their ship landed.
console playing,
With all
can't
the
mod.
rest.
The animations are great. The cutscene animations are so good. If you are interested, however, Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition are now available through Steam. You can totally buy them through Steam. You just have to, when you open them, you have to open Origin. So, you know, it is what it is, but you can get them through Steam now. If you don't want to buy them through Origin. I mean, I assumed that they open in Origin. I sort of made this look more like Dragon Age 1 art style. Yeah, but this is the art style they rocked through the rest of the series, so kind of makes sense. Oh, do you mean like the actual in-game graphics, as opposed to the cutscenes? Did I misunderstand? It's very mad the armor got lighter and Kunara got horns. Well, the horns thing with the Kunara is cool, because obviously the ogres have horns. Good morning, boy in pink shoes. That's a boat. It is a boat, in fact, Raka. You are correct. Oh, hey, anyone who's interested, Twitch Prime is no longer a thing. It is now Prime Gaming.
What? That can't be.
If you haven't seen.
It's true. Look at them all.
Are we really surprised? Everyone's fleeing the Blight. Just as we are.
And they would throw us all back to the wolves. Unbelievable.
So long as we're all safe, that's more important.
We need to find Gamlen. Our family has always been highly regarded in Kirkwall. He can do something, I'm sure of it.
Let's hope he received your letter.
The guards seem to be reporting to that man. Perhaps we should speak to him.
According to various posts, there are no default controller support on PC. There is no default controller support for Dragon Age 2 on PC. But mods will obviously fix that for you. Both available through the Origin Access basic plan, which is cheaper for you than buying Origin DA2 individually. Yeah, but if you want to keep the game, kind of obviously buy it, I guess. I'm not a huge fan of subscription services. I have Game Pass because I stream, and it means I can stream games I would not ordinarily be able to afford.
After all that time, shit, they do this.
But that's the only subscription service I have. For gaming purposes anyway. Let me in.
Get back to the crowd, you lot. Trying to bully your way through won't get you into Kirkwall any faster.
But you do intend to let us in.
We have enough poor of our own in the free marches. We don't need you refugees piling up here like a middens heap.
Game Pass is a nice thing. I'm going to be checking out Battletoads when it comes out in 9 days' time on Game Pass.
I heard someone call this fortress the Gallows. Is it a prison?
Used to be. Back in the Imperial days. They kept slaves here until the rebellion. Now the Templars run it and use it to lock up their mages. Guess not much has changed.
Are mages imprisoned
He
here?
is not a nice guy.
Well,
You are
no
correct.
more than anywhere else. It's a circle of magi now. Magic is to serve man, not rule him. And mages are better locked up where they don't hurt anyone.
Right, moving on.
Why aren't we being allowed into the city?
If it were up to me, I'd bar the gates and let you find somewhere else to beg. But it's not. Some of you lot might have legitimate business in the city. So Knight Commander Meredith wants us to sort you all out. Most of you are getting right back on your ships, though.
Ah, Meredith.
That's a Templar title. Why would a city guardsman answer to the
Pull into the
Templars?
cinnamon roll.
We don't answer to her, but she's the power in Kirkwall. Don't know what would happen if the Viscount went against something she wanted. but he's sure never taken that chance.
There must be someone in charge I can speak with.
Yes, always the same story. You want in, talk to Captain Ewald. I'm just here to keep you refuse from climbing the walls.
As Hawk, not trash. As Bubbles, complete trash fire. I'm garbage. Why is everyone here? This stream should be thrown on the midden heap.
Tell me, how did your family escape Lothering? Almost everyone who hadn't fled.
My older sister. If she wasn't with us, I don't think we'd be here.
But you seem quite skilled as well.
I'm not my sister.
No, you're not. Which is good. Because she's dead. Very nice, Trash. Thanks, babe. You have to say that, though. We're engaged. So are you the Trash Witch? Yes, you are the Trash Witch. Alright.
Did I not tell you to keep the rabble out of here?
There's only so much I can do, Monsieur. I don't control the gallows.
Then what am I paying you for?
I like the fact that Aveline just walked into the middle of the group, just asserting dominance over them. Respect to Aveline for that. Right, this totally works on console. Let's bring up the radio menu and look around. Ooh, Raka, sorry. Oh.
You can just corral.
We've no intention of keeping anyone here, Sarah. You're all going back to where you came from.
My men and I fought against the Blight. We're heroes.
Deserted. It doesn't matter. Kirkwall has no more room for anyone.
I've already told you, I can't give you any more for them.
But that was everything we have. It's all we brought with us.
And I feel for you, Sarah, but it's the best I can do.
If they just let us into the city, I could get 3 times that price.
Myron?
Pretty sure it's Alex Wilton Reagan.
Your business is done.
But...
To make sure you're able to get everything from your PC besides the GPU? That is excellent.
Now then, what can I do for you, Sarah?
I didn't think there'd be any stores here in the fortress.
There are many merchants who come here right now who can't afford the bribes to enter the city. So the Templars suggested having someone set up shop, temporarily. And I am the lucky man.
You mean you paid your own bribes to be here?
If they allowed everyone to set up shop, this place would turn into a bazaar. Sadly, there's only so much I can do for those Fereldans. Poor sods.
I'm sure you're very broken up over it.
I meant you. Folks like yourself.
Smooth. Oh yeah, GPUs are hella expensive.
She didn't seem very happy with the deal you made.
What am I supposed to do? Buy every piece of furniture these people dragged with them?
You mean people like us?
Of course. My apologies. My point is that I'm running a business, not a charitable order. I'm sorry.
I imagine the profits help with the guilt.
That's the same thing, right?
I didn't...
Yeah.
So the Templars suggested having someone set up shop, temporarily.
Cool.
I don't need anything.
As you wish, Sarah.
I like how creepy this place is because there's no background noise. It's just the echoes. Also, it feels really good to be back in Kirkwall. I'm going to say it.
Let us through, you flaming blighter. We're not staying in this pit.
Then get back on your ship and leave. Kirkwall has no more room for refugees.
The ship's already gone. We've paid good coin to get here.
Geralt?
You and half of Ferelden. There's nothing I can do. The city is full.
One of the guards said you were letting in people who have business in the city.
That's right.
We've seen you let lots of people through.
Some
Citizens and
dress
merchants
shopping
that
and
make it
waitress
worth
shopping.
our while. I'll assume that you don't have any more coin than these gentlemen. We've been letting you Fereldans in for months. You're too late. There's no more room.
But we've got family here.
I've heard claims like that 1,000 times already, trust me. We'll find some ships to take you all back to Ferelden, eventually. Until then, you stay here.
Our uncle is Gamlin Amel. He knows we're coming. Surely someone could find him.
Gamlin? I know that name.
He's a nobleman here in the city. Our family has an estate.
A nobleman? The only Gamlin I know is a weasel who couldn't rub two coppers together.
Gamlin!
If he comes back, I'll bring you to him. But I don't have time to...
What? You're gonna let them through?
I didn't say anything about...
We've been here for 4 days. They just got here.
That's it. We're carving our way out of here. Men?
On your guard!
We're not animals you can just corral.
Okay.
We've no intention of keeping anyone.
I like how he's still going through the idle conversation. Raka creepy is sometimes really good. Also, I guess I should probably heal Carter.
Save me, you bastard! Kill me! God cut me good! Smash me good!
You go through me before anyone else.
Help me with this one!
Who else am I attacking? Oh, that guy. I like how my mother's just standing over there. Like, no big deal. I'm sorry. Would you please not attack, stab me in the back? No, no help. Guess who's a cutie patootie and has no outfit? Is it you, Raka?
Unbelievable.
Do we get to see the outfit?
Captain, are you all right?
I am, no thanks to you. Where is everyone? Go find them. I want this kept under control. You have my thanks. Look, I can't get you into the city. It's not my decision. But I'll find your uncle and bring him here.
Well, there's that at least, I guess. Gamlin! It is excellent.
It's been 3 days. This waiting has to end.
I'm sure it won't be much longer.
Secret best friend server?
Gamlin
Excellent,
must still
excellent.
be looking for us.
And if he's not?
Wait. I think someone's coming.
What up, Uncle Gamlin?
Leandra. Damn, girl. The years haven't been kind to you.
He's smooth.
Let me say up front, I wasn't expecting this. The Blight, your husband, dead. I'd figured you'd pretty much be Ferelden for life.
Oh, Gamlin. We came too late. My darling Bethany didn't make it, and Drastic guide her.
Oh, make her save me. Leandra, don't drop this on me here. I don't even know if I can help you get in.
What if I asked nicely?
I'm more concerned about Mother. Can you get her in at least?
No. We stay together.
I was hoping to grease some palms, but the Knight Commander's been cracking down. We're gonna need more grease.
But what about the estate? Surely Father left something when he died?
Right, about the estate. It's, gone. To settle a debt. I've been meaning to write you.
Then there's no hope.
Not quite. I know some people who might help. If you're not too delicate about the company you keep.
Mother said our family was wealthy. You really can't help us.
I am blighted helping. I've got 2 offers of work from people who've got the coin to open those gates.
I still can't believe you sold the estate. Gamlin, how could you?
Well, I didn't expect your blasted family to show up on my doorstep. I've got a nice place in Lowtown. You'll see, it'll all work out.
Will it though? Will it work out?
Do we need to stay in Kirkwall? Let's go to another city.
This was my home. I can't believe they won't let me come back.
Every city on the coast's been hip-deep in Ferelden since the
Just
Blood.
like stacked
You could try your luck further
like this,
inland, I suppose, but it
or
won't be
blended
easy.
into a liquid.
We're not
Smooth
putting
taste,
Mother
maybe.
through that. We came here. We're staying here.
Yeah, nice place in Lowtown. That sounds great.
We don't have any choice, do we? I need to get my family into Kirkwall.
I talked to my contacts, and I found some people who might be willing to pay your
This is
way
also a
into
very
the city.
subtle conversation
The
to have in an
catch
echoey
is,
place.
you and your brother will have to work off the debt. For a year.
A year?
It's the best I could do. Trust me when I say a bunch of refugees won't get a better option anywhere else.
I'm sure we'll be free and clear before we know it.
I managed to convince my contacts to come to the gallows to meet you personally. Mirren heads up the mercenary company, the Red Iron. They're looking for recruits. Fenrir, I guess you might call her a smuggler. Either one of them can help you. All you need to do is find them in the courtyard and convince them you're worth the trouble.
What do you think about this, Carver?
What can I say? Better here than nowhere.
What kind of man is this Mirren?
He's a hired sword. What do you expect him to be like? I wouldn't bring him home for dinner or anything, but he's got a decent reputation. I wouldn't have asked him if I thought he'd cross you.
Is Gamlen gay? Is that what he's telling us?
How dangerous is this
Or,
smuggler's work?
Bi, pan.
Well, it won't be pretty working for her. She's a pretty small fish compared to some of the other thieves' guilds around here. But she's tough, she's fair, and she never deals in slaves or flesh.
Let's find them and see what they have to say.
Oh, Gamlen, I don't know about this.
It's a lot of coin, Leandra. Don't go expecting our name to carry the kind of
Well,
weight
got
it
Bethany
used
because we're
to.
going to get in a fight.
And what of me? I will not allow others to
Well,
incur
that's because
debts
I'm
on my
playing as a
behalf.
mage.
Can't see that it makes a difference. You look like a lady who can pull her own weight.
Then you'll come with us.
I have no real option. Thank you.
Yes, unfortunately, I decided to do a mage playthrough, which means rip Bethany. Hey, dude.
So, that was your uncle, was it? Good. I thought he was another confidence man trying to sell promises. I don't suppose he has the coin you'll need to get in.
He had some ideas.
They always do. If it were just up to me, I'd let you through. But there are a lot of eyes watching, a lot of palms that need greasing. My suggestion? Wait for a ship and hope the next city hasn't already closed their doors.
Never understood the greasing palms thing. Never understood where that phrase comes from. Played as a rogue explicitly because you hearted Beth. Hearted Beth? That's fair. I did a rogue last time though, so last time I played it, and I'm probably gonna do just all 3 games as a mage this playthrough. On stream, sorry. I really like the redesigned elves though.
Are you a Fenrir?
You must be Gamlen's niece. Interesting. I don't know what he told you about us, but he certainly told us a great deal about you.
How much exactly?
Enough to pique our interest, provided you can justify your uncle's confidence.
I'd like to know more about what we'd be doing for you.
I can be honest. We don't compete with the Thieves Guild, but we keep our fingers in a lot of pots. That said, we're not killers or slavers. Anything short of that, however, is fair game.
Do what you want, but this sounds fishy to me.
Begging and taking your pick never went hand in hand.
I hear getting us into the city
Gonna
isn't
talk to both
cheap.
of them, don't worry.
If you're as good as your uncle claims, we're hoping you'll be worth it. After all, it's not every day we're offered an apostate's services.
Did all 3 games as a rogue, so I'm stabby stab. Stabby stabby stab stab. Does not surprise me, and I did all 3 games as rogues also. I love the alchemist specialty in Inquisition. Just the ability to slow down time and go ham on a dragon's hamstrings. Actually, Heart Carver, even though it's a bit difficult at times, but hey, he's a little bro, right? Exactly, yeah.
I didn't realize Gamlen had told you that much.
The Templars in Kirkwall like to think they have all mages properly leashed.
I'm
but when
interested to
has that
see
ever
how
been
Carver
true?
is compared to Bethany.
We can keep them from taking notice while you're with us. Wouldn't be the first time.
How did you get to be one of my uncle's contacts?
Is that what he calls me? He owes us after that last big idea. If you turn out, though, we'll consider things even.
I did Rogue Archer in this game because I wanted to romance Isabella and have her in my party. So, I don't know, I might have a two-mage party. Might be a bit awkward, but I might do it. I have mentioned that I want to romance Meryl, but that's not set in stone yet. And obviously I've got a ways to go before I have all the companions anyway.
I'll find some other way into the city.
Suit yourself. I'll be around for a bit.
Gonna go
if
talk
you
to
change your mind.
the other guy. I just realised I'm not covering up anything on the UI. Woo! I went too far. Mirren.
Mirren?
And you must be Hawk. Nice.
Thanks, I think.
Your uncle talked up a storm about you. He better not be blowing more smoke out his ass.
Yeah, I explicitly went rivalry romance with Isabella because she's like, I want to be a better person for you, Hawk. And it was just adorable.
I'd like to know more about you first.
Right. You're not a marcher like your uncle. The Red Iron is well known in these parts. We pick who we work for and keep our noses clean. But anyone screws with us, we mess them up. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
All I know is if we join the company, I'm going to start talking like that.
Thanks, Carver.
Getting us into the city will take a lot of coin.
Did I mention the Red Iron gets paid pretty well? Not to mention your uncle said you were a mage. We're willing to pay for that.
God damn it,
Does everyone
Gamlin.
know about us?
It's going to get me killed.
You're not in the circle yet? Then probably not. You stick with us. You'll be safe. For a year, at least.
My uncle doesn't seem like the sort to hang out with mercenaries.
He doesn't. Gamlin cheated one of my men at a wallop match. You turn out, we'll call it even.
What are we thinking then, chat? Mercenary or smuggler? What are we thinking? I obviously have my own opinion, but this is a community. Let's involve the community in the decision. One vote for Merc. 2 votes for Merc. 1 for smuggler. 2 for smuggler. Oh, we're tied. Let's check this message. Well, need a tiebreaker. Yeah, we do. I mean, obviously, I could function as the tiebreaker, but gosh darn it, I'm not going to. Let's see how he takes being rejected.
I'll find some other way into the city.
Let me know how that works out for you.
Oh, he's not as welcoming. He's not as welcoming. Which did you do last time? I believe I did Ethenrol last time. Also, I can do the shepherd spin in this game. Can't do it in the first one. Doesn't control well enough. Okay, there's the tiebreaker.
You again. Still too good to work for the Red Iron.
I'm ready to prove myself.
Noble bastard named Friedrich is
Oh,
here in
hello.
the gallows. Gave us bad info. Almost killed my men. Now he's hiding out here, waiting for a ship.
I mean,
He sees us coming,
It's
he'll
like-
run for sure. But
like
he
2 minutes
doesn't
away.
know you. Go kill him and his men. We'll make sure no one asked why.
I was a battle mage in Origins. Hey, dude. I've got a spike with your name on it.
Have you checked the courtyard again?
He's still out there, but he's alone. And he's not making a move.
I don't trust this. What will we do when the ship comes?
That is not the voice I'd put to that
Who
face.
are you? I demand to know what you're doing here.
I want to hear what you have to say before I decide anything.
Mirren sent them.
I'm not an idiot. I could have figured that out for myself. Look, you. I don't know what that pissant thug is paying you, but I'll double it. Just let us go.
I might change my mind if I knew how you wronged the Red Iron.
Ugh, those fools take everything so personally. So I told Lord Asherall they were coming. It was business. I was perfectly willing to give the Red Iron a share, or all of it. I could give it to you as well. Just let me go.
You know, I don't think Aveline and Carver would be very happy with me accepting the bribe. What are we thinking, chat? The money would be nice, though. Especially early game. Need those injury kits. Or do I just honor my word and kill him? Money good? You are right, money is good.
Make it worth my time, and I'll let you go.
Oh, thank the Maker.
Wasn't that coin supposed to be paying us to keep your hide safe?
Not my problem.
If you want to fight them, be my guest.
To arms!
Finger on neck, me death. Always make full play group and origin, so Mage, Arcane Warrior, Massive, and Rouge and Ancient, Rogue and Ancient Elven, Servant, Combat Heavy. That's fair, yeah, I was an Arcane Warrior last time. I went Spirit Healer and Arcane Warrior. And then went to Shapeshifter at the end, so that could be bees! Unfortunately, I can't be bees in this game, which makes me hella sad.
Get back! I'll deal with this.
I like being able to turn into bees. Have you thought about not attacking me, though?
That's enough.
Oh, if you want me to turn the if you want me to turn the damage numbers off, just let me know, and I can do that quite easily. Bees. Man, it was so fun being bees. Anyway, let's go with. Let's raise my crit chance slightly. Okay, so what about options in creation? Glyph of Paralysis and Heroic Aura, which I believe is, yes, an attack buff. Okay, that's a possibility. I currently only have the dog. Entropy's the debuff tree, right? Yeah, it is. Is that sleep? It is sleep. Oh! Yes. I might grab elemental weapons. What's this? A wholesome family picnic, tragically molested by bees? My briefcase full of bees should put a stop to this? Exactly. Probably going to grab elemental weapons just for the buff effect. Is Mana Clash in this? Walking Bomb. Does not appear to be. Stone first, Guns first, Petrify, Desiccate, Galvanism, Tempest, Chain Lightning, Rock. Oh, there's Rock Armor. Kind of Cold, Fireball. Oh, Winter's Grasp, Fireball, sorry. Right, well, I'm going to grab elemental weapons just for the damage buff. Evil, like pure evil. You mean you don't just carry around a briefcase full of bees? What kind of person are you?
The traitor escaped. Well done. I hope whatever he offered you was enough to get you in on your own.
Oh, okay. Smuggler it is. My bad, people. My bad. Blood Rain persuaded me with money good. $2 gold? Gosh darn it. I assume I don't really have any... normal belt? Plus 2... Okay. No, I don't like bees. Should stay at home making honey that you'll never eat. You don't like honey? What?
Change your mind? Or no?
No, I have to do this.
Tell me what you need done.
Keeping flowers happy? That's true.
There's a merchant named Cavril, friend of the Templars. So they let him set up his little shop here in the gallows. We supplied him in return for a piece of the take, but now he won't pay up. We can't go near him without him screaming for the guard. But you can. Get our money from him and you're in.
Okay. Hopefully I don't mess this one up.
Hey there! What are you doing with that?
Back away from it, friend. Now.
I didn't expect it to do that, I'll be honest.
Wait. This is a Thenril's doing, isn't it? You can tell that bitch I'm
Remember,
going
money
straight
good.
to the guard again.
Money is good.
Care to step in here?
Only because this toad deserves it. You have a choice. Pay, or I beat it out of you, and your men.
Hell yeah, Aveline.
Hey! Stay back. Just... take what's in the chest. Take it all. Now I'm getting out of here. Let those guards find someone else to buy Dogland junk.
Plus 10 friendship with Aveline. Which means it's increased like a smidge, right? Yeah, a smidge. One of your fave moves in this game for Major is crushing prison. Oh gosh, yeah, I'm not going to be doing like the optimal build. I probably will grab crushing prison. Just to be like, and stay there. Oh, hey, barrier. Anyway, that's a future problem. I'm probably going to go much more buffing mage than nuke. Hey, I got the thing.
Here you go. As requested.
Will you look at that? Tell your uncle we'll make the arrangements. Welcome aboard.
I didn't mean to not do the mercenary thing. I was going to do it. But, I accidentally did, and I do apologize. Although I assume it's going to have, like, one side quest later that I can do for them.
Any luck?
I know I've got to level Aveline and
Yes.
Carver, don't worry about it.
They've agreed to help us.
I'll speak to a Thenril and see when the bribes can be made. Wait here.
I guess we did it. We're here to stay, at least for a while.
The blight may still spread, but for now we have a new home.
If only Bethany were here with us.
And Wesley.
Let's just see what happens. We have a long year ahead of us.
Thus began the champion's first year in Kirkwall.
Hell yeah. We made it.
Word arrived from across the sea that the hero of Ferelden had defeated the Blight.
Yes, I did. That was me. Not Rhiannon.
But Lothering
me.
Was destroyed. Kirkwall was the champion's home now. So she remained, paying off her debt. Made a name for herself in the underworld. It was a busy year in the city. That's when the Kunari landed. A great storm had caught their ship and left hundreds of warriors stranded in the city, waiting to return home. That's also when the trouble began with the mages. The Templars had become very powerful under Knight Commander Meredith. But, most importantly, that's when I first met the champion.
I do like the loading screens. They are well done. Also, the soundtrack is so good for this game.
No. Andraste's tits, human. You know how many people want to hire onto this expedition?
Look, we know you're going into the deep roads. You'll need to hire the best, and we're...
No. You're too late. Already done.
The money from this trip could fix everything. You need us. We fought Darkspawn.
Look, Precious. I don't care if you tore the horns off an ogre with your bare hands.
Oh, Bertrand, just be happy.
You make him understand. We're running from your bloody Templars.
You're right, but settle down.
My brother has a point. It's on his head, but it's still valid.
Oh, thanks for that.
So, what about it, Bertrand? We're just what you need.
You're looking for a quick way out of the slums, right? You and every other Ferelden in this dump. Find another meal ticket.
Well, back to waiting for someone to turn us in.
It'll get harder if we're at each other's throats.
I know. It just seems like you either die in this city or you end up like the scum we're bargaining with. We need coin, status, something we can shove in that dwarf's face and keep people off our backs. And all I can think of is Uncle Gamlen.
You catch more flies with honey. But Gamlen's bullshit could work too.
Maybe.
Well, he did get us into the city, right? What else can we do?
I see them back there.
We're losing ground.
It's Bodahn and Sandal.
I don't fancy waking up in the gallows.
Quick, no, take me back to Bodahn and Sandal. Also pickpocket.
Hey!
Ah, Varric. Bianca.
I knew a guy once who could take every coin out of your pockets just by smiling at you. But you don't have the style to work Hightown, let alone the Merchants Guild. You might want to find yourself a new line of work. Off you go.
Oh, Varric, my man.
How do you do? Varric Tethras, at your service. I apologize for Bertrand. He wouldn't know an opportunity if it hit him square in the jaw.
But
and
you
several
would.
probably have.
I would. What my brother doesn't realize is that we need someone like you. He would never admit it either. He's too proud. I, however, am quite practical.
Be still your beating heart. Now, question, babe. Is it for Varric or is it for Varric's chest hair? Because it's impressive.
You're part of Bertrand's venture.
That's right. The deep roads wouldn't normally be my thing, but I can't allow the head of our family to go down there alone. So as you might imagine, I have more than a passing interest in this expedition's success.
What makes you so certain we can help? You know nothing about
Pardon
us.
his sense of humor.
Oh, on the contrary. You've made quite the name for yourself over the last year. The coterie has been squeezing smugglers out left and right, and the only group to survive owes it all to you
Guy in the
two.
background is not happy.
The name Hawk is on many lips these days. Not bad for a Ferelden fresh off the boat.
You must have heard of my brother as well.
The arrow twirl was pretty good.
A little, yes. But it is you they speak most of, Messer.
That figures.
Your brother is certainly welcome to join us by all means, but I'll leave that in your hands.
Oh, I'm going. Without this expedition, we won't last out the year.
You're a little too smooth.
There must be some way to persuade your brother to hire us on.
We don't need another hireling. We need a partner. The truth is, Bartrand's been tearing his beard out trying to fund this on his own, but he can't do it. Invest in the expedition. 50 sovereigns and he can't refuse.
Only 50?
Not with me there to vouch for you.
It only took me like 2 to get in, so...
Your brother doesn't seem like the sort who's willing to split profits.
My brother is many things, but he is not stupid. Far better to share the profits than be trapped in a tide with 1,000 darkspawn between you and the exit. Trust me, he'll come around.
Varric definitely makes an entrance in this game.
Why would you stick your neck out for a complete stranger?
I'd rather take a chance on someone with your reputation than head into the deep roads unprepared. And besides, we'd be your partners. I'm willing to give a little trust if you are.
Yeah, but Varric, who does your tailoring? Because your coat is... Oh, so good.
It sounds interesting. But if I had any gold, I wouldn't need this job.
You need to think big. There's only a brief window after a blight when the deep roads won't be crawling with darkspawn. The treasure you find down there could set you and your family up for life.
Come on. The dwarf makes some sense. No offense.
None taken, Carver.
Look, you started this, and it's a good idea. Certainly better than ending up in the gallows.
We work together, you and I, and before you know it, you'll have all the capital you need. What do you say?
Hey, that's an archery pun.
There might be nothing down there except darkspawn and rubble. How can you be sure we'll make a profit?
Well, Bartrand isn't grasping at strings. He's operating on some good information. Some of the deep roads are so old, even the dwarves have forgotten them. We just need to get down there. Then Bartrand will lead the way. You and I will be there to handle problems.
What makes you so certain you'll be useful to me?
Have you not seen the crossbow?
I know everyone in this city worth knowing. I can help you find the jobs you need, and if you don't need me for that, there's always Bianca.
I'm not a dwarf.
You named your crossbow.
And why not? She's a beauty. Isn't that right, sweetheart?
He named a crossbow after his ex-girlfriend. More importantly.
What's to stop you from taking my investment and running?
You'll be traveling with the expedition, and I'll be at your side. If I cross you, you'll be the first one to know, and I'll be the last.
You're asking me to take a lot on faith.
You're asking for a guarantee? I don't know that I can give you one. Look, I know the Templars have been asking questions. How terrible would it be to get out of the city for a while? If this works out, you'll be wealthy enough that the Order won't be able to touch you.
Corruption.
You need the coin, and I need your help. We need each other. I can't make it sound better than that.
No, that's fair.
You have a deal.
Perfect. Kirkwall's crawling with work. You set aside some coin from every job, and you'll have the money in no time.
Sure. Easy. But... maybe Aveline's got some bounties out. She joined the city guard, right?
We should talk privately when you get the chance. In the Hanged Man, maybe. I'll be there when I'm not with you. Now, let's go see what trouble we can stir up.
You want someone's name weapon after you, Raka?
Ah, Hightown. Where
the rich go to piss their money away. This really is the best place in Kirkwall. Now I can access all of the DLC content. I'm just going to wait for it to scroll through before I do anything else. Yes, the next game I get that lets me name weapons, I'll name a weapon after you, Raka.
Just keeping the peace.
Thank you, I didn't ask. Okay, let's get the levels sorted. Carver, what are we thinking for Carver? Health, willpower. You know what? Let's just keep going with that. Maybe get him to strength 20 and then give him some magic resistance, maybe. Crit chance 10%. Yes, we'll go with the stagger chance as well. 1 ability point. Why would I not spend it on Bianca first? Bursting arrow, I remember being pretty good. That's a smoke bomb? Stun. Where's the smoke bomb? Oh, never mind. Oh, teleport's pretty good, but he is also an archer, so maybe not. Authorized biographer? Unauthorized biographer. Requires level 7. Yeah, these are all just whatever. Wait, what's that? Oh, right, yeah, those are all the same things. Anyway, evade could be useful, but we're still early game, so let's just focus on getting Bianca's abilities up. So we'll go with bursting arrow. What's your build, my friend? Dexterity makes sense as a rogue. Time to do some reading. Right, now I can access all of these. The incident at Chateau Han, memento from that place in Gamlen's house. I don't actually remember the incident, but do go on. The Chancery in Hightown for Sebastian, so we're going to pick him up. Go home and see if any letters have been delivered. Go home and check the special delivery storage chest. Go home and check. Oh, right, these are for getting certain things in the game. And then these are all main plot quests. Completed quest log. Okay, so Ogre are like onions. Ogre, towering over their darkspawn kin, the massive ogres are a rare sight on the battlefield. Traditionally, they only appear during a blight, but some records claim that ogres have been spotted in the deep roads hunting alone or in small groups. At least one report by the Grey Wardens claims that an ogre was spotted alone in the Korkari wilds in 919 Dragon, though it was weakened and easily dispatched. Up to 100 of these creatures can accompany a darkspawn horde at any one time during a blight, often using their great strength to burst through fortifications and demolish the front lines of the opposing army. They use brute force to charge their enemies like bulls, slam the ground with their fists to shake enemies off their feet, and hurl giant rocks into the face of oncoming foes, which is, you know, not the best place to have a rock hurled at you. Melee can be difficult against a giant that snatches a warrior up in one hand, crushing the life out of him or beating him into oblivion with the other hand. The nimble can try to wriggle his way free, or an ally can attempt an array of stunning blows on an ogre to free the comrade in danger. Grey Warden law urges caution when slaying an ogre. Unless it is ensured that they have received a major wound to the head or heart, it is possible that they are lying dormant and will regenerate to full health within a matter of minutes. During a blight, most Grey Wardens recommend burning all darkspawn to ashes. Dead ogres in particular. I read that. The Coterie. Kirkwall is built on a solid foundation of greed and human suffering, and its underworld is a place where everything is for sale and everyone is fair game. There are many criminal empires within the city, some of which have been around since the Imperium used Kirkwall as a hub in the slave trade. Alliances, spying, manipulation, betrayal, and open warfare is... pretty sure there's 2 spaces there, is all commonplace in the never-ending struggle for power. The Coterie is a thieves guild that has been around for almost a century, but until recently was never a major player in the underworld. Some 20 years ago, the strongest of the local criminal empires was an ancient guild known as the Sabrathan, but its leader was betrayed from within, and during the turmoil, the Coterie made a successful grab for power. Since then, they've sunk their claws into almost every level of Kirkwall, including the City Guard, the Dwarven Merchants Guild, and some of the most influential citizens in the city. It's safe to say that the Coterie gets a slice of every pie, and very little goes on in Kirkwall that escapes their notice. That book by that guy. Bartram Tethras. Half of Kirkwall wants to be my best friend right now. The history of noble House Tethras stretches back to the foundation of Orzammar. The memories say that 3 times a child of House Tethras took the office of Assembly Steward. They held appointments in the Shaperate of Memories and the Shaperate of Golems. But no longer. In the second year of the reign of King Endrin Idukan, that is I believe the previous king, Lord Andvar Tethras was found guilty before the assembly of willfully manipulating proving matches in favour of his house. For this affront to the ancestors, he and all his house were sentenced to exile on the surface. Andvar died a mere 5 years later, leaving behind his lady Ilsa, 10-year-old Bartrand, and 2-year-old Varric. Exile, surface life, and the loss of her husband conspired against Lady Ilsa, who took to drink, leaving young Bartrand to manage what was left of House Tethras. By the time he was 15, Bartrand had doubled his family's fortune. The disgrace of House Tethras fueled his ambition, and his once noble title gave him an instant place among the Kalnas, the old money elite of the Dwarven Merchants Guild. He used it to build alliances and business ventures as if he were a member of the Orzammar Assembly. By the time Lady Ilsa died, Bartrand had made the Tethras family one of the guild's most influential, but wealth and power on the surface couldn't sate him. He began to court alliances with the wealthiest ascendant families, branching into banking and mercenary companies. Guild members mutter that nothing will satisfy Bartrand but a complete reconstruction of House Tethras' estate in Orzammar, down to the rivers of lava, built in Kirkwall. Bethany Hawke. Ryder's younger sister, Bethany, died during the family's flight from Lothering, leaving Ryder and Bethany's twin brother Carver as the only surviving children. Like Ryder, Bethany was an apostate mage in hiding from the Circle since childhood. Protecting Ryder and Bethany from the Templars became the defining fact of the family's life, forcing them to move frequently and live well below their means in small hamlets like Lothering. Bethany was close to her eldest sibling and idolised and envied the way Ryder embraced magic, but she could never give up her resentment of being different and fear for what their future would hold. Carver Hawke. 100 ways to run, and we choose backward. Whatever you say, but chasing an old name isn't really starting over. Strong and strapping, Carver is a skilled warrior set on proving himself, although it's not always clear who he is trying to impress. The son and sibling of mages, he grew up surrounded by magic he couldn't truly understand, and he feels like something was expected that he could never deliver. He cares deeply for his family, but sometimes feels like the stupidest person in the room. Carver foundered in Lothering. He blamed his lack of direction on not wanting to draw attention to his family of apostates at home. After his father died, he started down a military path. However, the blight and rout at Ostagar ended this career almost before it could start. While he knows that swift flight was the only reasonable course in the face of the Darkspawn advance, he almost would rather have stood and fought. Doomed though the effort was, facing the Horde had purpose, something Carver has been searching for. Oh hey, it me. The hero of Ferelden belonged to the Circle of Magi in Ferelden and resided in the tower at Lake Callanhad for most of his life. First Enchanter Irving recommended the hero to Grey Warden Commander Duncan. Shortly after the hero's harrowing, Duncan recruited him into the Order. The hero fought and killed the Archdemon and lived to tell the tale. With the Archdemon gone, the Darkspawn ranks broke and the Horde was easily routed. After ending the Blight, the hero of Ferelden took up the mantle of Warden Commander and began the task of rebuilding the Order in Ferelden. Flemeth. You are required to do nothing, least of all believe. Ages ago, legends say Ban Carnabar took to wife a beautiful young woman who harboured a secret talent for magic, Flemeth of Highever, and for a time they lived happily, until the arrival of a young poet Ozen who captured the lady's heart with his verse. Man, those bards, Matt, they'll get you. They turned to the chasing tribes for help and hid from Carnabar's wrath in the wilds until word came to them that Carnabar lay dying. His last wish was to see Flemeth's face one final time. The lovers returned, but, quelle surprise, it was a trap, if you pardon my allusion. Carnabar killed Ozen and imprisoned Flemeth in the highest tower of the castle. In grief and rage, Flemeth worked a spell to summon a spirit into this world to wreak vengeance upon her husband. Vengeance she received, but not as she planned. The spirit took possession of her, turning Flemeth into an abomination. A twisted, maddened creature, she slaughtered Carnabar and all his men and fled back into the wilds. For 100 years Flemeth plotted, stealing men from the Chastened to sire monstrous daughters, horrific things that could kill a man with fear. These Kokari witches led, as an aside, Kokari is such a nice word to say, led an army of Chastened from the wilds to strike at the Alamari tribes. They were defeated by the hero Cormac, and all the witches burned, so they say. But even now the Wilders whisper that Flemeth lives on in the marsh, and she and her mother steal those men who come too near. Morrigan's mother saved the last Grey Wardens from death at the top of the Tower of Ishal, but just who, or what, Flemeth truly is a mystery. It's the man himself, Varric Tethras. I know everyone in this city worth knowing. Varric was born 3 years after his father's exile from Orzammar into the world of the Merchants Guild. The ancestors never spoke, and paragons were the heroes in tall tales. The number of dances a column the lady gave to a lowborn ascendant boy was more pivotal than the reign of kings. While Bartrand ran the businesses and drove House Tethras ever higher up the social ladder, Varric looked after the family and their retainers. His mother, Lady Ilsa, suffered terribly from the trauma of her disgrace and exile, finding solace in liquor and smoke. It fell to her younger son to try to curb the worst of her drunken rages, to keep her from becoming a matter of public scandal, and to care for her when she fell ill from her excesses. Though he is famous throughout the Merchants Guild for his stories, Varric rarely speaks of himself or his family. Most of Kirkwall knows him. Everyone has bought him a drink at least once, for the sake of his fictions rather than his family connections. Yeah, that does not do what I wanted it to do, so I guess I'll just have to press X to mark all as red. Actually, locks. Use a rogue of sufficient skill to open... Yeah, so I just have to keep going with cunning. The shame jar's not even covering the UI when it pops up. Most excellent. Okay, so we've got Worthy, Sebastian. I may as well go and grab Sebastian. Actually, no, we're going to talk to Worthy. We're going to talk to Worthy. Save the game first. Also, I have a bit of money. I might see if I can get some more robes while I'm in Hightown. Robes by Jean-Luc. Okay, so I've got Smuggler's Robes and Strapping right now. 17% healing. Okay. Enemies drop better equipment. You know what? No, I'm good. Actually, helmets. I can wear helmets, they just won't appear. I cannot afford it. Never mind. Let's get the gloves, though. And backpack. And then real quick, swap everything around and then sell the stuff I don't need anymore. Imported. I like it. So this is 7 cold, 10 per second. Yeah, that's fine. Is that because that's equipped? Oh no, it's just for Carver's use. Carver, is this better than what you're currently using? It is not. Excellent. Yeah, so that can be sold. Wear those gloves. The apostate cuffs can go to junk. These can be junked. That can be junked. Wear the amulet to help with regeneration. And just sell all junk. Also, I like the fact that I'm wearing gauntlets now and not just gloves. Sell junk. There we go. Okay. Don't think there's anything up here until I come here at like night, if I recall correctly, and then there's some stuff to kill. It's vaguely coming back to me, and I'm sure the longer I play, the more it'll come back to me.
Not here to sell today, Guardsman. When we're done in the deep roads, I'm buying everything.
That's fair, Carver. That's fair.
You want swords? I got swords.
I believe that's just general stuff. Hubert's fine goods. Hey, Worthy.
Hawk, long time no see, my friend.
Worthy, when did you get back into town?
Oh, just a month or so ago. Things didn't work out in Orzammar. You aren't still working for Athenril, are you? Your year must be up by now.
Nosy on you.
I'm looking to become an explorer of a sort.
I heard. Bartrand's hard to take, but his information is
I
usually
like how
good.
all the dwarf merchants were the
Hard
same
to
thing.
take? That's putting it mildly.
I'll tell you what. I still have my old contacts. You need some rune crafting done, I can arrange it for you. Take care, Hawk. Don't get dead.
Noted. Okay. Leave area. I do not want to do that. Can I still talk to Worthy?
Always a pleasure, Hawk.
Always a pleasure, Worthy. You are worthy of my time. Anyway, please don't leave. Oh, hang on. I guess I'd better do this. Just clear the prompt off of the map, right? Crafting. You can order runes if you discover the right combination of resources. Along with the recipe, resources you've discovered are permanently available to craftsmen, but placing an order costs money. Once you've ordered a rune, use the enchantment apparatus in Hawk's Home to apply it to your equipment. But as I have nothing for that right now, we're gold. I assume the codex update was just the yeah, crafting. Yeah, but real talk?
Not much to see here.
Okay, that's Bartrand.
The dwarf says the Darkspawn are mostly gone. He'd better be right.
Let's poke around this end first. Nothing there. Good to know. Good to know. Hey chat. Let's bow down the sandal.
Bodan Feddick, purveyor of goods both common and rare, at your service. And this is my son, Sandal, who is as brilliant an enchanter as you'll ever find.
Sandal!
Say hello to the nice human, Sandal.
Hello.
We shall be accompanying your expedition and providing the needed supplies. It's all quite exciting, isn't it?
I'm all a tremble.
The thought of adventure does make me giddy.
A kindred soul, surely. But I digress. Do you wish to peruse my wares, or perhaps make use of Sandal's unique talents?
Say it.
Enchantment?
He said it!
Just so.
He said it!
I thought all enchanters were mages.
Not at all. The fabled dwarven resistance to magic has allowed enchantment of crafts for countless ages. Granted, most dwarven smiths must work for many, many years to learn the skill, but my boy is a natural, a savant beyond compare.
Oh, I can tell.
I like enchantment.
And he enjoys his work. What more could one ask?
You two don't seem the sort to hire onto this sort of expedition.
My son and I have never played it safe. Never captured a tried and true road.
You gonna name drop?
In fact, we have just returned from adventures while accompanying the hero
You
of
name dropped.
Ferelden, legendary Grey Warden and vanquisher of the Blight.
It me.
So you helped to defeat the Blight?
In our small way, perhaps. We did not fight at the Grey Warden's side, of course. The hero of Ferelden is a fine man. After all his accomplishments, may he find even greater success. But surely my past is hardly of interest to the likes of you.
However, I am currently broke. But what do you sell?
Let's see what you have.
By all means, feel free to peruse my wares whenever you wish.
There's another Star Trek alumna, by the way.
Don't mind him, monsieur. Sandal's never been one for conversation.
What does Bodan sell? Ring of minor cantrips. But I want a ring of minor cantrips so I don't fall over. Keep going to inventory and not journal. Surface Dwarves. In Orzammar, dwarven society is divided into rigid castes with houses that compete for power and prestige, but all that is discarded when a dwarf abandons the stone for the surface. Under the open sky, everyone is equal, or so the story goes. The truth is that thousands of years of tradition are not so easily tossed aside. Even though surface dwarves are officially stripped of their caste, many maintain a hierarchy among themselves along the old caste lines. Formerly noble houses are accorded more respect than casteless brands who come up in search of opportunity. The poorest noble dwarf on the surface looks upon the rich, lower caste dwarves with contempt. Upper class dwarf society is roughly divided into two camps. Coloners, who insist on maintaining caste and rank, typically those from the noble and merchant caste families, and descendants, who believe in leaving Orzammar's traditions underground and embracing life in the sunlit world. Maintaining some tie to Orzammar was seen for generations as the only lifeline for surface dwarves. Bringing surface goods to their kin underground and lyrium and metals to the surface was not only the most lucrative means of making a living, but also a sort of sacred duty, as many surface dwarves willingly accepted exile and the loss of their caste to better serve their house or patron. In recent years, many surface dwarves, particularly ascendants, have branched out. They started banks, mercenary companies, and overland trade caravans. These they became investors and speculators in purely surface trade. These new industries have proven tremendous sources of wealth, but are looked down upon by their more conservative kin. For less affluent surface dwarves, association with a powerful colony can open many doors. They can get credit with dwarven merchants, and are offered work opportunities by the powerful Dwarven Merchants Guild more readily, sometimes, than more qualified but less connected individuals. From the Dowager's Field Guide to Good Society by Lady Alcyone. Oh, wait, no, it's red. Never mind. Okay, so I went that way. You know what? I may as well just go straight. Check out the square, check out... Oh, right, the Blooming Rose. Yes, the Red Lantern District.
I hope they do something about those canaries soon.
Do you? So do I. Yes, yes. Barrel. Take dagger. That's how to leave the area.
It'll be laughed out of Kirkwall.
Will you, though? I mean, I'm here. I may as well go into the brothel. Be rude not to, right?
Interesting place.
Madame Lucine runs the place for Harlan. Or with him. Or on him. It's a coterie thing.
Don't mind me. You just go on that table? That is the most secure table I have ever seen.
I don't care how much that man pays. I'm not rubbing Hubert's feet again until he pays. Disgusting.
Not sure I'd want to... What's the word? Employee, there we go. A sex worker named Porphyria. Sabina's brat.
My mom works here.
Okay.
I've got your order
in a
usual
minute.
ready and waiting for you upstairs.
Many thanks, Madame C.
The merchandise is up front.
Okay.
Can you teach me some initiative now? Promise.
Yes. Wait, Gamlin! Oh, I've just bumped into my uncle in the brothel. This is going to get awkward. Oh, this is already awkward. Oh, I should leave. I definitely should not run around it a bit more. Put the stuff away, Hawk. You don't mind? Okay, cool. Stamina draft. Oh, I bet I'll need that later. If you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, it's probably not the stream for you, if I'm being honest. At least I can hear you through the wall. Gamlin. Still kind of awkward that you're there, actually, if I'm being honest.
You know, Junior, you're looking at this all wrong.
Whatever it is you're about to say, I'm not interested.
I'm a professional younger brother. Trust me, the center of attention's
It's a
the
job
worst
now,
place
apparently.
to be. When things go wrong, and they always do, that's where all the fingers point. Look at any kingdom in Thedas. You've got people who warm thrones, and people nobody sees who do the real work.
And my sister is a queen in this scenario.
Bitch, of course.
Point, missing it. Oh well.
Madam doesn't give a rat's ass about your brat. She pays me a copper every time I kick the little bastard.
Okay.
You want me to do what? I don't think so.
I want you to pick the damn lock, Varric. You're a rogue, aren't you?
Not going to happen.
I guess if it doesn't have a difficulty rating.
Not likely.
Right, I guess we'll come back later after Varric's... Actually, standard, I think that's 20 cunning needed. And Varric is at 14, so... slightly off. Remember, that's their chat. I'll come back for it, don't worry. Oh, there we go. Quest updated, the Paragon's Toe. Side quests. A stone toe chipped from a great dwarven statue. May be of interest to a dwarf new to the surface looking for a piece of home. These surfaces often drift to the Low Town Bazaar, which happily is right outside. Okay, let's talk to Madame Lucine first, and then let's make it super awkward and talk to Uncle Gamlin.
Ferelden, are you? We are not a charitable organisation, Sirrah. If you cannot pay, you will have to take your lonely self elsewhere. Is that clear? 2 sovereigns for premium service, 1 sovereign for standard service. 50 silver and someone may touch you. Briefly.
That's good,
I'm not
right?
interested. Of course you aren't. Poverty had nothing to
I
do
would
with your
kill to be
decision,
touched
I'm
briefly.
sure.
Angel's not still here, right?
I won't mention this to your mother if you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm here. Oh, I'm rumbled. I'll be back with money. Oh, hey, Codex entry. The Anderfels are a land of shocking extremes. It is the most desolate place in all the world. For 2 blights have left great expanses of the steppes so completely devoid of life that corpses cannot even decay there. No insect or grub will ever reach them. It is a land filled with wonders like the Murdain, with its gigantic white statue of Our Lady carved into its face, her hands outstretched and bearing an eternal flame. Or, as much as it pains me to say, they do pronounce it Weishaupt, so Weishaupt Fortress, with its walls of living rock towering over the desolate plains below. The Anders, too, are a people of extremes, the most devout priests and the most deadly soldiers, the poorest nation in the world, and the most feared. From that book by that guy. Alright, time to leave Hightown. Time to leave for Hightown, sorry. Oh, hey, Donald Trump has said that the Spanish flu pandemic in 1917 ended World War II. So there we go. If he said it, it must be true. Right, Hightown Square. Kirkwall, Hightown. At the height of the Tevinter Imperium slave trade, Kirkwall's elite prospered beyond dreams of avarice. Hightown was built for the wealthiest slavers, its glitzy mansions rising along atop a great wall of rock that borders, on one side, the waking sea. Lowtown cowered on its other side until Kirkwall's slaves rose to plunder and destroy Hightown's riches. Today, Hightown's prominent buildings are the Keep, home to the ruling Viscount, and the Chantry, home to the Grand Cleric and the city's religious centre. Both are converted... That's fine, I wasn't asking you to. Both are converted estates that once housed wealthy magisters rebuilt and converted after the uprising. From that book by that guy. It can't download anything because I'm playing a game, and it stops the downloads when you play games. Although I really should stop the download anyway. Cancel the download. Crate! Fancy poison ring. Wait. Fancy poison ring? What? Hey Carver. You can't use maces, never mind. No, I read that correctly. Okay, it's just designed to be sold. Something over here. Nope. To the Chantry. Oh, there's a notice board somewhere, I think, with side quests. Also, I see you there, Sebastian. I see you. Don't think I don't. I got sucked into a cutscene.
Sebastian, stop this madness. The Chantry cannot condone revenge, Sebastian.
It is my right, my duty, to show these assassins there is nowhere in the Free Marches to hide.
This is murder.
No. What happened to my family was murder.
He's friendly. Oh, there it is. He was sticking his notice to it.
Good day to you.
Good day. What? Jolly good to see you here.
It's like shopping with empty pockets.
Ah, yeah, but it's good cardio. Also, walking in Hightown is getting us stuff to put in our pockets. Never, ever underestimate the value of trash you pick up from someone else's crate. Sorry, junk, I guess, technically speaking. Also, I'm off the map right now. Oh, hey, that's not a junk item. That's actually a ring I can wear. +4 mana stamina. Sure, why not? Could do with cooldown reduction. I wonder if that's a thing in this game. Pretty sure when I played this the first time, I spent ages trying to figure out what the X's on the map were, like geographically. Like I tried to find one.
From the lowest slaves to the highest kings.
Thanks. Obviously, they're just the point. They're just like the center of the area. Okay. Hey.
My, those weapons look sharp.
Oh, they are.
And Andraste did say, those who harm a house of the Maker have done harm unto the Maker himself. Ugh.
Duty. A grave crime was committed against all free-thinking men and women in the Free Matches. The ruling Vale family in Starkhaven, my family, was brutally murdered down to the youngest babe in arms. This massacre was carried out by members of the Flint Mercenary Company. I hereby offer a bounty on the head of each Flint Company soldier in the Kirkwall vicinity. Prince Sebastian Vale. Oh, hang on. I know at some point someone appears down here with a side quest. Not currently there, though. Or I vaguely remember, I should say. Sebastian is a DLC character, in case anyone was curious about what if they've played the game and have never encountered him. He is a DLC party member. He is also the only non-bisexual character in the entire game. Sorry, non-bisexual companion in the game. And he will also only romance a female hawk if she does nothing wrong. She can't flirt with anyone else. He's super like straight-laced and law-abiding. Obviously, apart from the lust for vengeance thing. Is that a sword I picked up? Isabella, I guess, is getting a dagger when I run into her. Into the chantry. So, obviously the chantry, no longer phallus-shaped, but by Jove is this chantry beautiful. Hey, book. Commandments of the Maker. These truths the Maker has revealed to me. As there is but one world, one life, one death. There is but one God, and he is our Maker. They are sinners who have given their love to false gods. Magic exists to serve man and never to rule over him. Foul and corrupt are they who have taken his gift and turned it against his children. They shall be named Maleficar, accursed ones. They shall find no rest in this world or beyond. All men are the work of our Maker's hands, from the lowest slaves to the highest kings. Those who bring ham without provocation to the least of his children are hated and accursed by the Maker. Those who bear false witness and work to deceive others know this. There is but one truth. All things are known to our Maker, and he shall judge their lies. All things in this world are finite. What one man gains, another has lost. Those who steal from their brothers and sisters do harm to their livelihood and to their peace of mind. Our Maker sees this with a heavy heart. Transfigurations 1, 1-5. Oh no! There is a knee-high chain. I cannot progress further.
Those Canari are a frightening sort. Demons, the whole lot of them. I do wish the Viscount would have them run off.
Did you notice Sister Alima missed 2 lines in her last sermon? I think her age...
2 lines, chat.
Yes, I've noticed. The poor dear walked out of her chambers with her robes on inside out the other day.
Well, we can't have her forgetting her lines like that. People will talk.
People are talking. You are people.
Blessed art thou who exists in the sight of the Maker. Sing of the chants so that it may reach his ears.
Where's the...
Ravine is a good boy. Please give me the strength to find him.
There we go. Andraste, Bride of the Maker. There was once a tiny fishing village on the waking sea that was set upon by the Tevinter Imperium, which enslaved the villagers to be sold in the markets of Minrathos, leaving behind only the old and the infirm. One of the captives was the child Andraste. She was raised in slavery in a foreign land. She escaped, then made the long and treacherous journey back to her homeland alone. She rose from nothing to be the wife of an Alamari warlord. Each day she sang to the gods, asking them to help her people who remained slaves in Tevinter. The false gods of the mountains and the winds did not answer her, but the true God did. The Maker spoke. He showed her all the works of his hands, the Fade, the world, and all the creatures therein. He showed her how men had forgotten him, lavishing devotion upon mute idols and demons, and how he had left them to their fate. But her voice had reached him, and so captivated him that he offered her a place at his side, that she might rule all of creation. But Andraste would not forsake her people. She begged the Maker to return, to save his children from the cruelty of the Imperium. Reluctantly, the Maker agreed to give man another chance. Oh, that was his first mistake. Never. Men are scum. Anyway, Andraste went back to her husband, Mafarath, and told him all that the Maker had revealed to her. Together they rallied the Alamari and marched forth against the Mage Lords of the Imperium, and their Maker was with them. The Maker's sword was creation itself, fire and flood, famine and earthquake. That's not really the opposite. Fire and flood, yes, opposing. Famine and earthquake, less so. Famine and bountiful harvest, more like, yes. Everywhere they went, Andraste sang to the people of the Maker, and they heard her. The ranks of Andraste's followers grew until they were a vast tide washing over the Imperium. And when Mafarath saw that the people loved Andraste, and not him, a worm grew within his heart, gnawing upon it. At last the armies of Andraste and Mafarath stood before the very gates of Minrathos, but Andraste was not with them, for Mafarath had schemed in secret to hand Andraste over to the Tevinter. For this, the Archon would give Mafarath all the lands to the south of the Waking Sea. And so, before all the armies of the Alamari and of Tevinter, Andraste was tied to a stake and burned while her earthly husband turned his armies aside and did nothing, for his heart had been devoured. But as he watched the pyre, the Archon softened. He took pity on Andraste, and drew his sword, and granted her the mercy of a quick death. The Maker wept for his beloved, cursed Mafarath, cursed mankind for their betrayal, and turned once again from creation, taking only Andraste with him. And now a lady sits still at his side, where she still urges him to take pity on his children, from the sermons of Justinia II. Most fragile substance in the universe, the Maker's ego. I really like that Kitty Cat clause, thank you for that. That was a good one. Not that you obviously need my validation, but it was a good one. Could not much? Yeah, that's not a sentence that makes sense. Oh, you don't get a name, I guess. It's appreciated all the same. Well, I'm glad. Alright, we're going to go just talk to Grand Cleric Althena after this, after running around up here for a bit. Isn't there a Tranquil up here? The history of the Chantry, Chapter 1. The first blight devastated the Tevinter Imperium. Not only had the Darkspawn ravaged... Ooh, voice crack. Ravaged the countryside, but Tevinter citizens had to face the fact that their own gods had turned against them. Dumat, the old god once known as the Dragon of Silence, had risen to silence the world, and despite the frenzied pleas for help, the other old gods did nothing. The people of the Imperium began to question their faith, murdering priests and burning temples to punish their gods for not returning to help. In those days, even after the devastation of the First Blight, the Imperium stretched across the known world. Fringed with barbarian tribes, the Imperium was well prepared for invasions and attacks from without. Fitting, then, that the story of its downfall begins from within. The people of the far northern and eastern reaches of the Imperium rose up against their powerful overlords in rebellion. The Tevinter Magisters summoned demons to put down these small rebellions, leaving corpses to burn as examples to all who would dare revolt. The Imperium began to tear itself apart from within. Throngs of angry and disillusioned citizens doing what centuries of opposing armies could not. But the Magisters were confident in their power, and they could not imagine surviving a blight only to be destroyed by their own subjects. Even after the blight, Tevinter commanded an army larger than that of any other organised nation in Thedas, but that army was scattered, and its morale dwindling. The ruin of Tevinter was such that the Alamari barbarians, who had spread their clans and holds over the wilderness of the Ferelden Valley at the far southeast edge of the Imperium, saw weakness in their enemy, and, after an age of oppression, embarked on a campaign not only to free their own lands, but to bring down mighty Tevinter as well. The leaders of that blessed campaign were the great barbarian warlord Mafarath and his wife Andraste. Their dreams and ambitions would change the world forever. From Tales of the Destruction of Thedas by that guy. Locks of the Golden Fool. A satirical tale about a deluded brother of the Chantry who sought peace between elves and humans. A condemnation of fanatics of both races, it is favoured by radical elves choosing to live in Darktown. Okay. That's not a door I can go into, but this one is. The founding of the Chantry. Cordelius Dracon, king of the city-state of Orlais, was a man of uncommon ambition. In the year -15 ancient, the young... that was already downloaded and installed, but okay. The young king began construction of a great temple dedicated to the Maker, and declared that by its completion he would not only have united the warring city-states of the south, he would have brought Andrastian belief to the world. In -3 ancient, the temple was completed. There, in its heart, Dracon knelt before the eternal flame of Andraste and was crowned ruler of the Empire of Orlais. His first act as emperor? To declare the Chantry is the established Andrastian religion of the Empire. It took 3 years and several hundred votes before Lesser Monsimar was elected to lead the new Chantry. Upon her coronation as divine, she took the name Justinia, in honour of the disciple who recorded Andraste's songs. In that moment, the ancient era ended and the divine age began. From Ferelden Folklore and History by Sister Patrine, Chantry Scholar. What I particularly like about Dragon Age as opposed to Mass Effect is that you don't need to play the games. Like, you don't need to play Origins.
Maker, take away this burning itch. If you do this for me, I'll never step foot in that brothel again. I swear.
Yeah, I don't think the Maker can help with that. You need a cream or a poultice, maybe amputation. Oh yeah. Was that guy seriously just boxing? Did that put up his dukes? All of the lore is repeated, so you don't actually need to play all of the games. You can just play one and be done with it. Obviously, you could get wider context, but there's a lot smoother transition into introducing you to the core world building going on than in Mass Effect. Maybe that's just me. Par Vollen, the occupied north. In the 30th year of the Steel Age, the first Qunari ships were sighted off the coast of Par Vollen in the far north, marking the beginning of a new age of warfare. History calls this the First Qunari War, but it was mostly a one-sided bloodbath, with the Qunari advancing far into the mainland. Qunari warriors in glittering steel armour carved through armies with ease. Their cannons, or cannon, the likes of which our ancestors had never seen, reduced city walls to rubble in a matter of seconds. Stories of Qunari occupation vary greatly. It is said they dismantled families and sent captives to learning camps for indoctrination into their religion. Those who refused to cooperate disappeared to mines or construction camps. I've seen the comment Kitty Cat Clause. I will address it momentarily. For every tale of suffering, however, there is another of enlightenment, deriving from something called the Qun. Or Qun, I guess. This is either a philosophical code or a written text that governs all aspects of Qunari life, perhaps both. One converted Saharan reported pity for those who refused to embrace the Qun, as if the conquerors had led him to a sort of self-discovery. For all my life I followed the Maker wherever his path led me, he wrote. But in the Qun I have found the means to travel my own path. It has been said that the most complete way to wipe out a people is not with blades, but with books. Thankfully, a world that had repelled 4 blights would not easily bow to a foreign aggressor, and so the exalted marches began. The greatest advantage of the Chantry-led forces was the Circle of Magi. For all their technology, the Qunari appeared to harbour great hatred for magic. Faced with cannon, the Chantry responded with lightning and balls of fire. The Qunari armies lacked the sheer numbers of humanity. So many were slain at Marnus Pell, on both sides, that the Vale is said to be permanently sundered, the ruins still plagued by restless corpses. But each year the Chantry pushed further and further into the Qunari lines, although local converts to the Qun proved difficult to return to Andraste's teachings. By the end of the Storm Age, the Qunari were truly pushed back. Ravane was the only human land that retained the Qunari religion after being freed, and its rulers attempted to barter a peace. Most human lands signed what I always insist on pronouncing as the Hlamerin Accord, even though the game pronounces it Lomarin, but there we go. Accepting the Tevinter Imperium. It is a shaky peace that has lasted to this day. From the Exalted Marches, an examination of Chantry warfare by Sister Petrine, Chantry scholar. STI is the gift that keeps on giving. Thank God for modern medicine. Indeed. Indeed. Do not want those itches that never go away. Alright, I guess we should probably go and speak to Grand Cleric Althena now. And by we, I mean I, because I'm the one with the controller in my hands, I guess. Is that the Maker? Interesting. The Maker. There was no word for heaven, or for earth, for sea, or sky. All that existed was silence. Then the voice of the Maker rang out, the first word, and his word became all that might be. Dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. And from it he made his firstborn. And he said to them, in my image I forge you, to you I give dominion over all that exists. By your will may all things be done. Then, in the centre of heaven, he called forth the city with towers of gold, streets with music for cobblestones. That seems kind of impractical, actually. And banners which flew without wind. There he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. The children of the Maker gathered before his golden throne and sang hymns of praise unending, but their songs were the songs of the cobblestones. They shone with the golden light reflected from the Maker's throne. They held forth the banners that flew on their own. And the voice of the Maker shook the fade, saying, in my image, I have wrought you my firstborn. You have been given dominion over all that exists. By your will all things are done. Yet you do nothing. The realm I have given you is formless, ever-changing. And he knew he had wrought amiss, so the Maker turned from his firstborn, and took from the fade a measure of its living flesh, and placed it apart from the spirits, and spoke to it, saying, here I decree opposition in all things. For earth, sky. For winter, summer. For darkness, light. By my will alone is balance sundered, and the world given new life. And no longer was it formless, ever-changing, but held fast, immutable. With words for heaven, and for earth, sea, and sky. At last did the Maker from the living world make men, immutable as the substance of the earth, with souls made of dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. Then the Maker said, to you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. From the fade I crafted you, and to the fade you shall return each night in dreams, that you may always remember me. And then the Maker sealed the gates of the golden city, and there he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. Threnodies 5:1-8. Hey, so does this really... Oh, wait, no, never mind. The Sermons of Divine Renata the First. The weakness of mortal will is the great failing of all the Maker's children. We trade our honour as if it were the cheapest of currency. We do not understand what integrity is, or what it is truly worth. From this ignorance, original sin was born. At some time, each of us has thought, what does it matter if I keep hold of my integrity? I am but one mortal. I am powerless. How blind we all are! The virtue of a single slave destroyed the Tevinter Imperium. The dishonour of one man drove the Maker from our sight. I tell you truly, nothing but the integrity of our hearts will win the love of the Maker back to us. It is all the power we shall ever possess to change this world, for good or for ill. From a sermon on integrity. Hey, yeah, there's this angry guy from Starkhaven outside.
I'm sorry you had to witness that disgraceful scene by the Chanter's Board. I am Althena, Grand Cleric of Kirkwall. Sebastian's normally a good lad, but he's had a terrible shock.
Sebastian?
Is this DLC?
Was
Yeah,
that
Sebastian is a
Sebastian
DLC
Bale.
party member.
He was affirmed here nearly a
See you later,
decade
babe.
ago.
Have a good
He
call.
had just been invested as a brother when we got the news about his family.
It just adds a companion
I'm afraid
and a side
he
quest.
reacted rashly.
like storyline.
denied his vows, and left the Chantry. If the Maker wills it, he will return to himself before it's too late.
This is like the start of the Sebastian thing.
So he's some kind of priest?
Just figured while I was here, I may as well.
Of the faith. As a man, he cannot serve as a mother would, but he has led the chant here many times. Before last week, I would have said he was the most faithful of our true believers.
He said someone murdered his family.
Poor Sebastian.
Sebastian is the youngest son of the ruling family of Starkhaven. They were overthrown recently, violently. Sebastian is the only surviving member.
He's royalty.
Prince Sebastian Vale.
He did sign it, Prince.
If he succeeds in his pledge to take back his lands. He made a vow to the Maker to put worldly concerns behind him. It is a sin to forswear himself for a mere title.
He's feeling very upset.
I think his family deserves to be avenged.
Sebastian would spend his coin to buy men's lives, the same as those who attacked his family.
I'll do it for free, though.
No matter how justified he feels, that is murder. And when he returns, I will tell him so again.
Journal. Search the docks at night, go to Southern Mount and the Wind Coast. Basically go to all of the places, kill people, and you're good. I would assume then that Sebastian... Yes. In the face of danger, sometimes the bravest thing is to stand back and trust that the Maker will see justice done. Sebastian Vale is the only surviving son of the ruling family of Starkhaven, which was murdered in a violent coup d'etat. Sebastian cannot forget the irony that he still lives only because his family was so ashamed of his drinking and womanizing that they committed him to the Kirkwall Chantry against his will. That's not really ironic. After initially rejecting a priest lifestyle, Sebastian was more surprised than anyone when he realized that his show of faith had turned real. Since then, his belief in the Maker and his plan for Thedas have been unshakable. Embracing his new role, Sebastian took vows of poverty and chastity to become a sworn brother of the Chantry, until word of his family's deaths forced him to take up worldly concerns once again. Grand Cleric Althena, Sebastian's mentor and friend, hopes to convince him to walk away from the struggle for Starkhaven and return to the good works of the Chantry. But as I said, figured I may as well start that going while I was here. I'm not going to pursue it, because I'm still running around Kirkwall, picking up everything I can to sell. Let's admire the Maker from afar. Yes, he's very spiky. Let us leave. How's everyone doing anyway? On this rather warm Tuesday. Viscount's Keep, access via Hightown. Am I going to romance Sebastian? Probably not. But he is the only non-bisexual character in the game, so it's got that standing out for him, I guess. I think I've been everywhere in Hightown. Oh, also you can change the time of day, well, if you didn't know. Let's go to the docks. Romancing Sebastian also means never flirting with anyone else. I don't know if I've got that in me. Thank you for the follow, Kitty Cat Claws. Really appreciate it. Don't think your sibling is bisexual since that was just weird. You know, Raka, it would be weird, but also you can't romance your sibling for some strange reason. Just gonna move the alert box up slightly. No, that's the chat box, which I really could get rid of, so that it's more in line with the webcam. That should be fine though. But like, I'm maybe going to romance Meryl because I haven't romanced her. I've only played the game through once, and I romanced Isabella. But that's not set in stone.
Just keep the ships coming, and we'll get them through.
Did not hear ships. Okay, so this is the Arashock, right? Yeah, this is the Kunari.
Go away, human. This ground is ours by treaty.
Okay, Kunari. Okay, you just
The alienage
teleported
is
in.
dirty, crowded, and full of awful elven diseases. Ugh.
Thanks, I guess. Take the raven feather.
If you see a blood, run. She's probably a blood mage.
Okay, that's not very nice. Can't get in there anyway. Doing the pretty standard, just run around and collect everything. Right, this is all circular, right? Oh, no, it's not. I'm thinking of a different area. What is this? Lord Renville Harrowmont. Oh, that's a dwarf then. Can I not? I want the X behind me. Gosh darn it. Never mind. I guess we'll go see the shady merchandise. People just coughing.
Not my favourite stop. I'll tell you that, Ferelden.
As in, Ferelden isn't your favourite stop, or you're telling Ferelden that this isn't your favourite stop. Be clear, man. Be clear.
Have I mentioned that I hate this part of town? Maker, help me. I'd rather go to the Merchants Guild.
You have now. Can I fish, though? Real question. I wish I could fish. I should probably look at what I'm picking up, if I'm being honest. Shady merchant.
Feel free to look at my merchandise, if you've the coin.
Okay. Okay, daggers. Gloves, boots, ring, pirate sash. Grab both of those, why not? Mark stuff for junk, probably, maybe. Pretty sure Sebastian's bow is going to be better than that, but I'll keep it for now. Take all of the recipes I can get and forget I've got them. Let's be honest. So there will be 1, 2, 3, maybe like 3.5 streams of this before Battletoads comes out, including this one, I think it was. Yes, including this one. Battletoads I won't play for too long. Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna try and strike while the iron's hot, so to speak. And then I'm just going to come back to this because I love this game. Unabashedly and unironically, really enjoy this game.
Yes. Good day to you.
You like hotness? Hotness in what way? Oh, striking while... Yes. Gotcha. Again, can't fish.
A nice view of the sea. If there were windows.
But I'm, 1, looking at the sea, and 2, we're in a low fantasy world. Why would Microsoft exist to develop Windows? Well, answer the question, Carver. Pat, look, I'm sorry, okay?
Ferelden's taking my work, not a chance.
It's too hot. I don't brain good when it's hot, which is a problem considering my 3 income streams are entirely based on me being creative. Oh, also ignore these. These won't be important in any way later.
Follow my lead!
Never go near a ship again.
Oh, right. Elemental weapons.
I could shoot this in my sleep.
But hey, I love being creative and I love streaming, and I wouldn't change any of it.
Lord Harrowmont, what do we do with the human?
Stand down. She's not our foe.
I did help just now.
What was that about?
Assassins. The boat to Ravane is within sight, but the Carta would see me dead before I get there. How would you like to make some coin?
I've never seen a dwarven lord.
You still haven't. If you're looking at him in daylight, he's not a lord anymore.
I'm Renville Harrowmont, the last of my house. My family was
Oh
once
dear.
revered
What
in
did Balin
Orzammar.
do?
Now I'm nothing but a surfacer on the run.
You must have greatly angered the Carter for them to attack you with so many witnesses around.
My family was murdered one by King Balin.
Chuffing Balin.
After my uncle failed to claim the
Who
throne.
put him on the throne?
Balin's reach is long, and his vengeance
right.
a terrible thing to behold.
I'll clear the way for you, Harrowmont.
Dispatch these ruffians and I'll pay you what I can now. And by the ancestors, I will reward you proper when I am safe. What is your name?
Hawk.
A good name. I will remember it.
The Carta has several groups lying in wait for us. Take the battle to them.
Oh, I will. It has been too long since I murdered things. Right, they're just scattered around, right? Journal. Now they're on the map? They are not, never mind. I was going to read the codex entry, that's what I was doing. Anyway. I read that. The Carter. The castless dwarves of Orzammar have few prospects. Consigned to live in a crumbling ruin on the social and economic fringes of the mighty dwarven capital, most resort to begging, prostitution, or crime. Just as all rivers eventually join the sea, all castless who turn to crime eventually become part of the Carter. The hero of Ferelden decimated the ranks of this ancient gang while rallying the dwarves to join in the battle against the archdemon Earthemiel. Unable to recover the power they once had in Orzammar, they turned their attention topside, using groups of surface-dwelling dwarves to smuggle weapons, lyrium, surface luxuries, people, and other goods between Orzammar and human lands. Despite the flow of business, its members are still desperate and violent. With no strong leader to rein in their excesses, they have little sense of dwarven honour and freely break their word, double-cross allies, and renege on deals. From the Stone and Her Children, Dwarves of the Dragon Age, by that guy, sorry. These I read in the Chantry. Everything has been read. Yes. They have been read. You know what? It's been a while since I saved. I don't know, actually. Yes, it has been a while since I saved. Whew, that could have been awkward.
Never going near a ship again.
Oh, well, about that. Alright, I'm going to continue my investigations of the docks, and we'll see what jumps out at me. Torn trousers. Yes, I'll sell those. Nothing here yet. There's a gap in the line on the map, but there's nothing actually there, so that's annoying. Hey, dude.
Harrowmont spoke to you, didn't he?
He did.
Whatever reward he offered, we'll offer you more to kill him.
Time to die.
How about I take care of you instead?
Stupid bastard!
Hey! My parents were married, I'll have you know.
On your guard!
I'm stuck!
Shoot you in the back with ice bolts.
Elf this and elf that. I'll elf your mother.
Got him. Oh, hey, new staff. Why was that dwarf rogue carrying a staff? Answers on the back of a postcard addressed to Comrade Bubbles. That does more damage. Now we're doing fire damage, people. Is it still active? It is still active. Cool.
The alienage is dirty, crowded, and full of...
Alright, let's see if there's any carter down here. Doesn't look like it. If you're a magic, what type of energy would be your default attack type? Oh, probably nature. I don't know if nature magic is a thing in this game though. But I'm a huge fan of plants and growing things.
Yes and no.
Looks like a
So
fight.
piss off.
Be ready. Go down. That's enough.
You'll regret this, son.
Will I though? Get away from me. Team violent lightning. I see what you did there. Hey, I don't have anything. Oh, that's a lot of dudes. Hey, Varric. You've used it. Good.
This will be easy.
Just gonna back off slightly. Yeah, I'd go for more like grasping thorny vines and things like that. I think would be my look if I were magic.
By all means, lead on.
Can I read that? No, I guess not. Magic of tree, wild, tooth and claw.
To arms.
Thanks, Varric.
You'll regret this, surfacer.
Will I though? Hey, did you forget the part where you were supposed to attack someone else? Because of the mind blast? God, that stun is so good.
I'll deal with this. How about you?
I like the numbers just flying above their heads. They make me happy. No.
Go down.
Oh, hello.
Let's finish this.
Stun, mind blast. Set him on fire. Varric, Bianca is always in your hands. She is never getting lonely. There's no loot over here. Back to Harrowmont. They are all dead. We get back and he's just dead and I don't get paid. This is what I was trying to read. A badly copied leaflet. Take back our streets! Ferelden refugees, Kunari soldiers, who next? Tevinter slavers snatching children out of their beds? This ends now. Send a message that Kirkwallers will not accept this. We must band together to drive foreign waste from our doorstep. Reclaim the free marchers for the marchers. If you care about our future, join the Friends of Kirkwall. Reclaim our city. No. In fact, no. No, I will not.
Captain finds a Ferelden on board. Over they go. No questions.
That seems a bit racist. Xenophobic?
Thanks, but no thanks.
That's pretty good.
I wager you've a bright future ahead of you. Take this. More will come, as promised. May the stone look after you.
Just gonna mute my mic and cover my webcam while I have a snack.
This your brother? You like the motion of the ocean?
Yes. Good day to you.
You look like a sinker. Dense.
Yes. Good day to you.
Okay, I am back. Let's just remove the pride flag. There we go. Hey, I got this thing.
I believe you lost this somewhere.
You did this? Without being begged and thrice paid. Interesting.
I did, in fact, do that without being begged and thrice paid.
Tom Wise?
Huh? Oh, Hawk. Haven't seen you since we did that job together for Athenril. Been a while. Heard you're going on some expedition into the Deep Roads. And right into Darkspawn territory. Sure that's wise?
We can't all make a living in the Undercity.
Just watch your back. That's all I'm saying. Say, you still in the market for some poisons? Athenril's scarce these days. And the coterie have their own mixers. You find any rare reagents and want me to whip you up something? Just let me know.
I'm quite capable
In fact,
of whipping myself,
since you're an
but
old
okay.
friend, here's a recipe. My speciality. Everyone needs an edge sometimes, right?
Whipping, comma, myself, not... Anyway.
Still living with that uncle of yours in Lothar. Nobody's stabbed him yet, huh?
I wish they showed the city council meeting where all the Gothy edgelords took over and were like, oh, we've decided this is now as a city of chains, but that's right, right? Yeah, that would be a good meeting to sit in on.
Trip back, blight or no.
Anyway, let's go down here. Cool, they did not like me working for Athenril then. Like how Varric's taken no damage.
Nicely done.
Bianca's locked and loaded.
Take what I like. That's what I say.
Okay.
I'll cut you open.
Please don't.
Now you fall.
I like my insides not being on my outsides.
Everyone see that?
Go down.
Hey, I mean, if Hawk's telling me to go down, I will. Just saying. Stares at the camera, winks, continues playing the game.
Could I suggest that we never come here again?
It's Darktown, we have to come here several times. Deathroot. Deathroot has been used in magic and potion making for centuries. It's a fragile looking plant with a thin stalk and purple flowers, which fruits once a year, developing bright red fleshy pods that cause disorientation and dizziness if ingested. There are two varieties. The more common Arcanist Deathroot was first found by Archon Hedrianus when he discovered it growing on several dead slaves. The other, Lunatic's Deathroot, is most closely associated with the story of the courtesan Melusine, who sought revenge on a powerful magister and his family. She harvested the plant, baked it into small pies for the magister's banquet. All the guests were seized by terrifying hallucinations after eating the pies and tore each other to pieces. Mood. An excerpt from the Botanical Compendium by Inez Arantia, botanist. Good old Inez. Good old Inez. Pretty sure Danzig gives you quests at some point.
Mind your manners. This is my territory.
Okay. The remains of Sister Plinth. Nope. Journal. The remains of a missionary sister who sought to bring the chant of light to the dark place. Kirkwall, the chantry archivist, always looking to catalogue their lost in the memorial wall. I mean, they were just there. Anyone could have got them. Everyone here is lazy, I guess. If Hawk doesn't do it, it doesn't get done.
Well, now we know where the sewers lead.
What if you don't have any manners to mind? That is a very good point, Crazy Cat Claws. That is a very good point. Also, I'm minding Varric and Carver. I have my hands full of minding things. Whoosh. It's not very dark. Huge windows. Kirkwall, Darktown. Darktown was once a mine controlled by the Tevinter Imperium. Once exhausted, the mine shafts were extended under the city to dispose of sewage from Kirkwall's overcrowded population of slaves. Guess I'm Crazy Cat. Did I not say claws? I meant to say claws. Sorry. Unsurprisingly, the tunnels became a refuge for those fleeing captivity. A similar trend continues today. The Undercity, as some call it, is home to the diseased, the insane, to criminals, and even the dead. Unwanted corpses are often discarded here by murderers and lazy undertakers. Well, it's not home to the dead then, is it? Merely storage. Darktown's slums make Lowtown look pleasant in comparison. The foul miasma known as choke damp clogs and swells in every corner of the Darktown, creating a poisonous mist. Its sewers are a dangerous place. The walls are damp, slick, and coated with phosphorescent lichen. The sewer is a maze, and one foolish enough to enter is not likely to be heard from again. From that book by that guy. I do try to use people's full screen name, unless they say otherwise. Sometimes I stumble over my words, though. I do apologise. The Tevinter Imperium. For good or ill, the Imperium has put its stamp on Thedas forever. The old Imperial Highway is still in use across most of Thedas. The ruins of Tevinter fortresses and centres of magical study still litter our landscape, long after the glory of the Imperium dimmed. But the influence of that ancient empire goes deeper than this. Without Tevinter, there would have been no Blights, no Andraste, no Chantry. Every aspect of our world would be altered. The might and majesty of the Imperium may have faded, but it still makes its presence known, even in the most distant corners of Thedas. Every child has been brought up on stories of Tevinter as it is now, a decadent nation ruled by the Archon and his court of magisters. Great, and no doubt corrupt, mage lords. Their chantry is a mockery of our own, their black divine and man chosen from the ranks of the Minrathos circle of magi. The Maker's most hallowed law, magic exists to serve man and never to rule over him, perverted. Mages in the Imperium say their most sacred duty is to serve man, and they serve best by wielding political power. And the worst, that which blessed Andraste must weep to see, all of it is built on the foundation of slavery. While most nations forbid the buying and selling of slaves within their own borders, nearly everyone ships her people to the Imperium for sale, skirting the prohibitions against such atrocities and feeding the Imperium's endless hunger for bodies. To fight the Kunari, to work the mines and quarries, to build the palaces of the magisters, to sweep the crumbling streets and turn the middens and serve at the whim of their mage overseers. From Black City, Black Divine, a study of the Tevinter Imperium by Sister Patrine Chantry Scholar. Yeah, you did, in fact. I just,
Beats the alienage. Barely.
Okay, well, yeah. Kind of, if it's the name someone's chosen as their screen name, to me that implies that they kind of want to use it. So I try to use it. Sometimes, as I say, I do slip over my words, or I read things quickly, or I don't say the full name, and I apologise. I will try to get better at that. Until told otherwise, obviously. Yeah, we'll be back here a couple of times. Hey.
Not even that mage.
Hey, let me in. I want to talk to Anders. I want to talk to Anders. I guess not right now. Okay. Fine, game. I'll play you the way you're supposed to be played. Slowly and in excruciating detail with the odd pun thrown in. I will take a pouch of pebbles and sell it to some unlucky merchant. I think I've been everywhere, so I guess I'll go back up here. Scream is long and a dumb story of how it came to be. Well, I mean, I'm always interested in the etymology of names.
dark spawn. Here's the real dark.
Okay. But equally, you really don't need to tell me. Okay, I guess I'll just use this exit right here, because I'm right here. Could go to Lowtown. Wait, there's something in the chantry? Oh, right, Sister Flint. What time is it? Got 15 minutes left. It's a Lowtown. Lowtown day. Because that's actually important. Different things happen at night. Ah, Lowtown, my old friend. This is the area I was thinking of instead of the docks. Good day, God. Just walking into a wall carver. That's fine, I respect that. That is your decision to make.
The best armor coin can buy.
Okay.
Rusty Metal Spike District, my favorite part of town. Can we leave now?
Varric, you literally live here. Or you may as well literally live here. You figuratively live here because you spend all your time in the Hanged Man, but... Fiance's game tag is in Vietnamese and it's hilarious to listen to people butcher it or go up in Thailand and just call them A. Well, I mean, to be fair, like, if you don't know how Vietnamese is supposed to be pronounced, and I don't, you do the best you can as a streamer. Like, I'm just assuming that Rackers is a short A, not Raka.
Maybe later, darling.
Cool. I think I've just been propositioned. No blame on it's just funny. So your name was Raka in IRL2. It kind of came from your punk rocker setting and over time Rocker turned into Raka. I think that's from...
Nobody follows the law anymore.
That's a pretty good story. I would not call that dumb. Everything makes sense. I guess it would be Raka then. That's the closest to Raka. With a long A sound. Oh, right, it's up there. I was like, how do I get into my house? But it's up there. We're all good. There's the house that I'm staying in. We're not going in there just yet, of course, but that's how I get in there. This entire stream, bits of fighting, and then just running around.
What?
Time to read about the city elves. Rorka. When the Holy Exalted March of the Dales resulted in the dissolution of the Elven Kingdom, leaving a great many elves homeless once again, the Divine Renata I declared that all lands loyal to the Chantry must give the elves refuge within their own walls. Considering the atrocities committed by the elves at Red Crossing, this was a great testament to the Chantry's charity. For more on that, play Dragon Age Inquisition. There was one condition, however. The elves were to lay aside their pagan gods and live under the rule of the Chantry. Some of the elves refused our goodwill. They banded together to form the Wandering Dalish Elves, keeping their old elven ways and their hatred of humans alive. To this day, Dalish elves still terrorise those of us who stray too close to their camps. Most of the elves, however, thought it was wisest to live under the protection of humans. And so we took the elves into our cities and tried to integrate them. We invited them into our own homes and gave them jobs as servants and farmhands. Here, in Denerim, the elves even have their own quarter, governed by an elven keeper. Most have proved to be productive members of society. Still, a small segment of the elven community remains dissatisfied. These troublemakers and malcontents roam the streets, causing mayhem, rebelling against authority, and making a general nuisance of themselves. From Ferelden Folklore and History by Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar.
Why do elves stay here if it's so horrible?
They don't have anywhere else to go, Carver. Kirkwall, the elven alienage. Alien elvenage. Lowtown is home to a squalid elven alienage. Here, like in most Thedas alienages, elves are packed into tiny rundown apartments and effectively segregated from the human population. Kirkwall's alienage is even more dilapidated than the rest of Lowtown, but the elves go to great lengths keeping the place looking bright and festive. The Vaynadal, the tree of the people, standing in the middle of the alienage, is a symbol for elven pride and shared cultural identity, and it is lovingly cared for. It's difficult to say if the elves would continue confining themselves to the alienage if they were given the chance to mingle. They may not admit it, but some feel that living among their kind is far better than living with humans, no matter how terrible alienage life may be. From that book by that guy.
Why, hello there.
Hello!
The boys and I are going for drinks later, if you'd like to join us.
Okay.
Don't mind if I do. See you there.
Oh, he wasn't talking to me, my bad. Alienage culture. There have always been alienages. They've been around for as long as elves and shems have lived in the same lands. Ours isn't even the worst. They say that Valvoyo has 10,000 elves living in a space no bigger than Denerim's market. Their walls are supposedly so high that daylight doesn't reach the Vaynadal until midday. But don't be so anxious to start tearing down the walls and picking fights with the guards. They keep out more than they keep in. We don't have to live here, you know. Sometimes a family gets a good break and they buy a house in the docks or the outskirts of town. If they're lucky, they come back to the alienage after the looters have burned their house down. The unlucky ones just go to the pauper's field. Here, we're among family. We look out for each other. Here we do what we can to remember the old ways. The flat ears who have gone out there, they're stuck. They'll never be human. And they've gone and thrown away being elven too. So where does that leave them? Nowhere. Sarathia, Haran of the High Ever Alienage. Let's check there's nothing else to interact with around the tree. Okay, we're all good. Oh, try to remember that it is Rorka. Going by that pronunciation guide. Nope, this way. I believe this is down to Darktown. Slash any area I wish to go to, but yes, that would appear to be it. It isn't. I overthink everything. I'll stick with Raka. I overthink everything. It's my jam. If you haven't figured that out by now, boy howdy. Spindleweed. It is an old country saying that spindleweed grows best for the sorrowful. Verdant spindleweed in a household's garden has often brought neighbours offering consolation, usually without even asking what might be wrong. This originates from the plant's use as a seasoning for dishes meant to speed the recovery of the infirm. A person who grows much of it is likely caring for the fatally ill. Except from the Botanical Compendium by Ines Arantia, botanist. Cool. And then this is where I came up from the Darktown entrance. Okay, so that was that loop. This is the Hanged Man. Yep, that is definitely the Hanged Man. Lowtown Bazaar. Weaponsmith. Barrel.
I bring you a priceless treasure. From the highest heights of Mount Davos it's travelled.
Has it?
A pouch of Andraste's ashes.
That's at Haven.
Verified by the scholar Genitivi, these ashes cure any ailment and provides virility in more intimate matters.
Oh, you said.
Do I have a volunteer?
Yes.
I'll try.
I guess not.
Just a small pinch, Sarah. There you go.
My cough. It's gone.
Andraste be praised.
Cured by the Maker himself.
That's enough. Clear out, you charlatans. Every coin those swindlers nab goes straight to the Carter's coffers. They must be stopped.
Oh, I will. Permanently. Anyway. Hey, Lady Elegant. Apparently I need to talk to you.
My. If it isn't Hawk. Good to see you again, Elegant. Lady Elegant, if you don't mind. I'm a married woman now.
Are you?
Last time we met, you were still in Athenral's employ. Things have been going well since then?
It isn't always easy, but things are going well enough.
That's wonderful to hear. You may recall I sometimes provided potions for Athenral. I'd be willing to extend you the same courtesy if you like. All I ask is you inform me of any interesting reagents you find. In exchange, I'll approach my contacts on your behalf.
Much appreciated.
And of course you'll need the appropriate recipes, such as this one. Free, for old time's sake.
Why, thank you. Health fruit potion. That gives me the health back. Oh, and injuries. Cool. Can't make it, of course, but there we go. Just to leave area. Vincento's Northern Merchandise.
I have only the finest Antivan merchandise.
Is that true? Very good. To Antiva! Oh, someone leveled up. Kirkwall, Lowtown. Lowtown sits in a massive cauldron-shaped pit that was once Kirkwall's first quarry. The district was constructed by slaves who carved the city and its harbour out of the rock. Today, Lowtown is a labyrinth of shanty towns, corridors, and hexagonal courtyards, hexes in local parlance. Lowtown's poorest live in caves hewn out from the cliff face. The district is shoddily built and bears scars caused by collapsing walls. Foundry smoke smothers the area. Only a cold winter storm clears the air, but the icy winds howling over the mouths of old mine shafts hardly counts as relief. Occasionally, these dark town shafts are up with gouts of foul air known as choke damp. It's not uncommon to find whole slums silently suffocated, frozen in the midst of everyday activity. The walls surrounding Lowtown are highest by the harbour. Its busiest street leads up to Hightown, where the wealthiest Kirkwalls perch. When one stands in Lowtown, all one sees other than the rocky walls is Hightown. It glitters overhead, always in sight, yet always beyond reach. From that book by that guy. Oh, I suppose that's what it means. But, like, if I stare the other direction, there's nothing. So... Also, apparel? Hell yes. What do you sell? Oh. Physical damage. Interesting. Robes, I guess, is what he sells. Anyway, level up. Level up my hawk. Let's go for a bit of extra health, I feel. What level do I need for that? Level 6 for crushing prison. Okay, so that's the next level. Gotcha. Ooh. Ooh, it can stun opponents. That might be useful. Torment and horror. You know what? Let's grab that, because right now Mind Blast is kind of helping a lot when people roll upon me. Yes, this is the Frozen Import Shop.
Will everyone please just step back? My mother's in labor. The baby's come early. Can anyone help her? I'll send word to the healer, but...
My son's hurt bad. Cart overturned on him in the blasted bone pit.
Everyone in your turn. I promise we have donations coming in. There will be food and medicine for all of you.
There will be if I have anything to say about it, because this is where I'm going to sell most of my stuff. For story reasons.
If you're seeking aid, leave your name with my girl. We serve everyone here. No one came from Ferelden without trouble. But I can't give priority to anyone who's already found work and lodging.
Is there a way I can assist these people?
If you've coin to spare, we won't turn it down. Donations go in the box up front. Anything else?
I just want to see your wares.
Look around. We don't often get customers with actual coin to spend.
Well, I have 1 sovereign to my name. I've also got some junk to sell. I have 2 sovereigns to my name. Right. I should probably equip these. Do you, perchance? Okay. You do not have that, but you have a frost rune, so I might take that. Health potion, amulet and ring. Ooh, maybe. You know what? I'll keep what I've got for now. I will, however, equip some different things. No, I'll take the regen over the... yeah, more stamina, and that's fine for me. Carver, Varric. Carver, there we go. Wow, Carver's DPS is low. I guess he just hit kind of hard though. Anyway. Is there anything else in my inventory I meant to check? Varric's tail leather duster is gorgeous. Okay. We're all good there. You just had a wooden shield and crate. Cool, cool. Not going to judge. Donation box to aid for Ferelden refugees. Donate my sovereign. A whole sovereign, but it's worth it. It's a worthy cause. New surfacer. Tell me more, Mr. Dwarf.
I think you let this get away from you.
You just stumbled on this? Can't say I'm surprised. Bloody fools.
Cool. Free experience. Hey, Carver. Let's get you to 20 strength. Why not? Right. Nope. Whirlwind. Sure. Okay, so this is the Hanged Man. This is where Varric hangs out, but I'm not going to go talk to him right now. What's actually on my map? Gammon's house. And something else over there. But the map is terrible, so... Oh, can I use the right stick to... No, I cannot. I wonder what the other arrow is, game. Oh, right, the miracle thing. Maybe.
Not a step closer. No refunds on the ashes, friend.
The miracle thing.
If the Maker doesn't favor you, that's between you and him, isn't it?
Get ready!
Don't say I didn't warn you.
That's how we did it back in Ferelden!
Carver just dashing across the battlefield. Carver, you might want to... You know what? Mind Blast!
That was all me! Right there!
Was it all you, though? Because I was the one that used my mind powers.
Something has me! Maker!
Get back! Go down!
Hey, no health potions allowed.
Maker's breath, Hawk. You do get results, don't you?
Hell yeah, I do. Intrigue. Very much rogue armor. That I can't wear, because why would I? I might keep it just to went to the wrong tab. Just in case I feel like getting that high index and stuff. Return to Sergeant Melinda for a reward. Right, well, before I go home then, let's get the reward. That's not very nice.
Those charlatans won't be bothering anyone again.
Did you say something? I didn't hear you. And clumsy me. I seem to have dropped a coin purse in your hand.
Very clumsy, Sergeant Melinda, but she knows what's up. I feel like I should make a thing about having, like, accidentally drop a Prime Gaming sub here or something, but I know that can drive people away, so I try not to anymore. Anyway. Bit of extra health, there we go. And Hail of Arrows is pretty good from what I recall. And then back the way I came. Hey, I got that sovereign I donated back. Excellent. Into Gamlen's house. I have a hair blowing in my eye. Ah, that's really annoying. Stop it, fan. Although, I'm really appreciative of the cool breeze that you're keeping me surrounded by. Here's my doggo. Hey, weren't you in the brothel?
Hard to believe they left me nothing.
Well, Mother was pretty steamed when you ran off with your Ferelden apostate.
I'm still their daughter, their eldest.
This is a huge house for someone who has nothing in the poorest area apart from Dogtown. Letter from Athenril. Hawk, your year's up and you're free to go. Despite what you think we had a good thing working together, I might pass along an opportunity or two. If you're willing to get your hands dirty, stay safe. Ah, the Black Emporium. Greetings, you do not know who I am, but I have heard of you. I understand you might need items from my collection as well as the means to obtain them. I do not extend this invitation to anyone, but you are not simply anyone, are you? Consider this an invitation to the Black Emporium. Enclosed are directions through the passages underneath the city, as is the charm to enter. If you give the charm to another, its permission will immediately be revoked, and the consequences will be unpleasant. Adieu, Xenon. To whomever elects to participate in the charitable deed of assisting the Vale family of Starkhaven, His Most Worthy Highness, Prince Sebastian Vale, has provided instructions for anyone brave and noble enough to attempt eradication of the rabble who dared attack his family. 3 groups of Flint Company mercenaries have been sighted in the Kirkwall vicinity. One group makes camp not far from the Elves of the Sundermount mountain range. The second has been seeking information on the docks after nightfall. The third is far from the main road off the Wounded Coast. They are believed to have a small campsite well past any known landmarks. A princely reward A princely award awaits whoever finds and defeats all these rogues. Make the Maker guide you, Chanter Talitha. Leave the storage in there. Leave the fancy things in there. I could probably just sell these, to be fair, but...
Get out of my face! Your mother's bad enough. I don't need you nagging me.
I'm not even in your face. And all I wanted to do was say hi. Can I pet the dog?
He wasn't like this in Lothering. I think he misses the open fields.
Come on. Let's play Fetch the Invisible Ball.
He just needs to get out more. Don't you, boy?
But if he's with us, who'd keep Gamlen's debt collectors away?
Asking the right questions.
Take it. I'm sick of what's-his-name staring and panting.
Gamlen, honestly, a Mabari understands what you say. Try using his name.
What's wrong with dog? Real easy to remember.
Oh, cool. Hey, chat, what do I name my dog? The last one was Gotrek in honor of Gotrek and Felix. I mean, it's not a weapon, but I could name it Raka. Sorry. Oh, that sweet 360 bong. I mean, if no one stops me, I will. Or I'll just make another cat pun, because what's funnier than naming a dog after a cat name? Really? Okay, let's go with... Terrible names on the spot, turns out. Whiskers? You know, sheep that could? That works. That is sufficiently light-hearted for this stream. Thank you for the suggestion. Also, hi. God, I hate the 360 noise. Hi, Whiskers.
I'll let you sleep.
Who's a good boy? Also, Carla's boots are amazing. Just saying. Hey, Mother, you've got something for me?
My children have been in servitude for a year. They should be nobility.
If wishes were poppy, we'd all be dreaming.
You done goofed, Gamlen.
This is the way things are, Mother. Gamlen can't change it now.
Your mother was supposed to marry the Comte de Launcey, and instead she ran off with some Ferelden apostate. You don't get to stay the favorite when you do that.
Where is Father's will? If I could just see for myself.
It's not here, all right? It was read, it went in the vault. No one needed to look at it again.
And the vault's still in the house, right?
I know the Amels were nobility, Mother, but not
Excellent
much
mode.
else. Why don't you ever
Thank you
talk
for
about
lurking.
them?
Appreciate the lurk.
The Amels have been a noble family in Kirkwall since Garahel drove out the Fourth Blight. But we've always carried magic in our blood. It's been a stain on our lineage. No family of good standing would ever marry into a line with
So
magic.
tired. Oh, I know that feeling.
When I chose your father, I was bringing more magic into
Hopefully
our
I can
line,
provide some
not
entertainment
less.
whilst you're tired.
I think that's what hurt my parents the most.
Did Grandfather mention Mother in his will at all?
Our father died when you were still in Pinafores, girl. You can hardly expect me to remember.
Oh, of course not. Why should you do something reasonable?
Oh, shot fired.
Please, Uncle. We have a right to see it for ourselves.
Maybe so. But you won't be seeing the bloody thing. It's still locked
Yep.
up on the estate,
In the vault
and
on the
that's
estate.
long out of my hands.
What daft bastard leaves that behind?
It was old news. You think I've been sitting here for 25 years waiting for Leandra to slink back?
Well, ideally,
Who
yes.
bought the estate, Gamlen? Perhaps I could speak to them. Was it the Reinhardts?
No one you know. Get used to Lowtown, sister. That's where we're going to stay.
Oh, I disagree. I have aspirations.
Maker, what a mess. I want to make things better for Mother. But some of what Gamlen says, I'm having a hard time hating him. Playing caretaker for someone else's life. Stuck in their shadow. That's no way to live.
Something you need to say?
Look, if you want to join the fight over who lost the most, fine. But I never lived here. Mother even gave me her old key to try and stir something. But I didn't know Grandfather. Finding his will doesn't matter to me.
She tried her best to give us what we need. I think she's due the same.
Oh, I see her side. Gamlen's definitely an arse. But it's not like we can just ask slavers to give back that life.
We might be able to.
What have you heard?
Uncle's a chatty drunk. He was up to his neck and signed everything over. That's who has the estate. Apparently, the most extensive wine cellar in Kirkwall is now a slave highway from the Undercity. That's the family legacy.
Well, that can't continue.
That sounds like an arrangement that needs to change.
And what if it does? We still aren't important enough to actually live in the place.
Baby steps,
Hey.
All right,
Don't
sister.
confuse money with importance.
If the key works, we'll clear the estate from the Undercity up.
Do not confuse importance with money, Carver.
I don't know if this will help, but I do feel like hitting someone.
Oh, that will probably help. Please open the door. This door is huge, actually, thinking about it. Tomes, gotcha. Guess I picked that up through the wall, huh? Cool. 2 attribute points. Magic 20. Cunning is your defense stat. You know what? I might start working towards that boar leather armor or whatever it was. Cardinal rules of magic. You must not be under the misimpression that magic is all-powerful. There are limits, and not even the greatest mages may overcome them. No one, for instance, has found any means of travelling, either over great distances or small ones, beyond putting one foot in front of the other. Well, that's darn lie, because you can ride a horse, gosh darn it. And a nug. The immutable nature of the physical world prevents this. So no, you may not simply pop over to Minrathos to borrow a cup of sugar, nor may you magic the essay you forgot in the apprentice dormitory to your desk. You'll simply have to be prepared. Similarly, even when you send your mind into the Fade, your body remains behind. Only once has this barrier been overcome, and reputedly the spell required 2/3 of delirium in the Tevinter Imperium, as well as the lifeblood of several hundred slaves. The results were utterly disastrous. Finally, life is finite. Truly a great healer may bring someone back from the very precipice of death, but breath and heartbeat have ceased. When breath and heartbeat have ceased, but the spirit still clings to life. But once the spirit has fled the body, it cannot be recalled. That is no failing of your skills or power, it is simple reality. From the lectures of First Enchanter Wenceslas? Wenceslas. And these are the story DLCs, which we will be doing at a later time. I guess I grabbed them out of the box, maybe? Yeah, I must have just grabbed them through the wall out of that box. Cool. Cool. Got about 10 minutes left. I can't actually currently select Aveline, so I guess I'll accept. Let us, in fact, go to the Black Emporium. This is DLC for anyone who's like thinking, where the heck are you?
Customer. Thaddeus, stand straight. Places, everyone. Welcome to the Black Emporium.
I love him. He's just so creepy.
I am the great and magnificent Xenon, the antiquarian.
Yes, you are. Andraste nude repose, invisible. Can stone lie with purpose? Can it beckon with raw feminine command, yet shine with an inspiring virtue? That challenge was posed to sculptor Arwan de Glace, artisan and son of Empress Vougienne of Orlais. It was busy work and rhetoric in a time of excess, but answer he did, with the reserves of a nation and a passion unhealthy. His subject? Our Lady, though not as depicted in traditional statuary. Arwan's mad ambition summoned the form of Andraste, uninterrupted by the trappings of war and devoid of the vestments she assumed after death. It was living, commanding, obscene, yet inspired. To gaze upon it was to be enthralled, spiritually and physically. It was the latter that alarmed Chantry officials. They blanched at the thought of Our Lady being possessed of such a base appeal, even as they too were drawn. Basically, Andraste is hot. The work could not be destroyed without threatening the balance between empire and hallowed, so a grave censorship was enacted under the disguise of honouring. Enchanters, grave here meaning serious, enchanters were tasked with extending the ethereal that hides the fade, drawing it around the form like a cloak. Our Lady remains in the stone and in this world, but mortal eyes are forever denied her treasure and glory. She is veiled in every sense. As in all things, unintended consequences must vex those with pure intentions. Modesty would have been better served by a thickened sheet, drawn back when techniques were to be studied. As it is, the sculptor's skills are accessible only to an exploring touch, defining the shape by intimate caress. All manner of strange congresses stems from tempted hands and the innocent wish for clarity. From Art and Shame, Forbidden Wonders of Faith, by Fouassine de Petitforet, translated by Philium, a bard! Oh, Philium gets around a lot in this game if I recall correctly.
Don't fondle and trust, eh?
I'll try not to.
That Gollum's name is Thaddeus Gigantus Crumbum the Third. He's my favorite.
Hi Thaddeus, how you doing?
Don't manhandle the urchin. He's not for sale. Find your own.
Varric, you done just walking into the golem and apparently taking damage? A vessel of tears. Although this wax-stoppered vessel is clearly labelled Tears Shed during the burning of Treviso, many questions remain, not the least of which is, which burning of Treviso? And the Kunari conquered it in 635 steel, and it was burned by the liberating armies of the White and Black Divines during the second exalted march of 752 Storm, or when it accidentally burned to the ground in 862 Blessed after a dockhand knocked over a lantern in a warehouse full of lamp oil. Even assuming the correct event could be determined, the question of whose tears have been collected remains. Presumably not any of the numerous fire victims, surviving relatives perhaps. Nobles with summer homes on the Antivan coast. Should be noted that nowhere on the label does it say that these tears were shed in relation to the event, so they could have been the tears of a woman in Montsimar weeping because she was not asked to dance at the last costume ball, unaware that at that very moment one of the greatest port cities of Thadis was aflame. From letters of Brother Ferdinand Genetivi to Sister Petrine Chantry Scholar.
Few people are worthy of an invitation, you know.
And I am very grateful, Xenon.
Search the sewers for the Emporium and accost poor urchins.
Well, clearly they need to get their own urchin. So he sells stuff, and it's pretty good stuff, as you can see. It's just really quite expensive. Does have a cool stuff, though. Ignores enemy armor, 5% chance to regenerate, 3% health. Hell yeah. Well, I could get it. It would be all of my money, so I won't right now, but I could. Yeah, he sells really cool stuff anyway. Maker Psi lets you just respec pretty much unlimited amounts.
And I tell urchin to say, no, you are not worthy. Starve in the sewers.
And does he?
Except urchin never speaks.
Oh, because that's quite a good line, actually. Oh, cool. Straight up just buy points. Potions. Damage against Darkspawn, slows, and coin. Yes, please. I don't have armor I can put a rune in right now, actually. Why would I buy that? The Box of Screaming. I received the box from a man I met in the Silent Plains. He spoke little and would not reveal his name. For reasons I shall not detail here, I had been kidnapped and left for dead in that grey, wind-blasted wasteland. That is a mood. After days of walking, I was parched and close to death. I was about to dash my head on a rock to speed my passing, that is a big mood, when the man arrived. He possessed a water skin containing ample water for a person travelling from our location to the Imperial Highway. From there, he said, I could find my way to Solas or Paravantium. He offered to give me the water skin if I agreed to take 3 things from him. A glowing crystalline shard, a bronze sphere, and an iron-bound box with no hinges. I asked the man if he wished to have these items delivered. He said that he merely wanted me to have them. It was an odd request, but I was too weak and too desperate to think much of it. And so I agreed. The man put the items into a leather sack, which he handed to me along with the water. What about you? I asked. He said nothing, only pointed in the direction from which I had come. There is nothing that way, I said. He merely smiled at me. I found the Imperial Highway about a day later, and a caravan driver agreed to take me to Paravantium in exchange for the large growing shard. In Paravantium I bartered the bronze sphere for new clothes and room at the inn. That night I examined the iron-bound box and found no way to open it. I held it to my ear and thought I heard slow, measured breathing coming from within. My mind was afire with curiosity, and I obtained from the innkeeper a large hammer, thinking to smash the thing open. The moment the hammer touched the box, it shrieked. With a shrill sound pierced the depths of my soul. I gave the box to the innkeeper in the morning and felt better for having rid myself of it. A page torn from a mysterious journal on display in the Black Emporium.
I'm tired of those plebeian items. Take what you like. No charge.
Yeah, I'll take the free loot. Don't worry about me. I can't equip any of it, I believe. Gloves of the Unknowable Unknown. Yes. Ring of Unheeded Wisdom. Yes. I think these are for me, right? Yeah, these are rider only. 69 armor. So I'm going to...
No charge, Thaddeus. You hear me?
Yeah, please don't beam me up, Thaddeus. The pickled apples of Orlathan. I expressed my incredulity to the shop's assistant, who coldly noted that he did not like my implication. He insisted that every article in the Black Emporium was genuine. No fakes, imitations, or cheap knockoffs. I must have appeared unconvinced, for the assistant narrowed his eyes at me and disappeared into the bowels of the shop, returning several minutes later. He removed the jar of pickled apples from its display case and proceeded to carefully, reverentially remove the wax seal from the lid of the jar. I watched with fascination as the jar was opened and a single, rosy apple pulled from it. It looked as if it had been picked just that day, at the peak of ripeness. With a paring knife, the assistant cut the tiniest sliver of flesh from the apple and presented it to me. The flavour of that one small sliver was astonishing. It was as close to a perfect apple as ever there was. I was experiencing the essence of every apple ever eaten and that ever will be eaten. When it was over, the sense of loss that filled me was sharp enough to move me to tears. The rest of the apple was returned to the jar, which was then resealed. I paid 5 sovereigns for that single taste, and I believe I got the better part of the bargain. From that of Brother Ferdinand Jenner TV to Sister Patrine Chantry Scholar. Okay, I'm going to wrap up, but this is the Mirror of Transformation. It allows you to remake your hawk. Not gender or anything, just the cosmetic stuff. I am actually going to make the lips slightly paler. I think that's good. That's the only thing that's been bothering me so far. But I may change the hairstyle during play. I may change it up during play.
Stare too intently at that. On second thought,
Dude.
please do.
Oh, he's so good. Right. Do I want the robes? Is all my gold. It's all the money I have, but it is a significant increase. However, the better equipment is nice. I will be honest. And the healing bonus. I'll take the boots. Sandals of the Mystic. Hey chat, do you like feet? My feet are on show. You know, I guess I'll keep these for other characters to use. I'll just drop them in my storage for now. So I'm going to go back to Lowtown. Going to go back to Gamlen's house. Going to stash the stuff in storage, and then Gamlen's house, and then end the stream. I think ready to pick up where I've left off tomorrow. I'm hoping that I don't have a problem loading up the Dragon Age, loading up the Xbox One version. I'm going to check that kind of after I finish up here. Oops. Stash the Song of Sorrows. So, thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. If you've been with me since the start, you are a champ, and I really, really, really appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow, all things being well, about the same time as I started today. Running till about the same time, probably a little bit ending a little bit earlier, but who knows? I certainly don't. So if you aren't following the channel and you want to know when I go live for that, please do consider following the channel. If not, that's, you know, fine. It's totally up to you. It's. I just appreciate the time you spend here. This will go up on YouTube probably tomorrow or later today if you've missed the start and you want to see the start of it. But that's it from me. I hope you all had an enjoyable couple of hours and have a good evening, afternoon, morning, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. See you around.